not being available, but you've got us a place somehow, some way, in Somerville. Did you even think what happened in Somerville last week?
Yes, I did when I saw the news today, and I figured maybe that's why all those hotel rooms are available there.
Yes. It's the only place in town within a shouting distance of our hotel where a chemical railroad car was hit. Almost hundreds of people went to the hospital here, so we're right in good company. Another good job.
Well, lightning can't strike twice in the same place.
Penguins at their own end. Lonsberry finally sends it ahead to George Ferguson. Ferguson, right wing pass. Now the Penguins on the attack. Finally, Sievers behind the net. Leave it over to the near side of McCrimmon. Sievers is very active. Comes to the left point. Stewart a shot. Hit Ferguson. Lonsberry of Pittsburgh. His shot. Hit a man. Stewart's got it again. And he can't hold it in. Back to center ice. Randy Carlyle backpedals to his own zone. Pass it up to the red line. Lonsberry had the puck. Deflected over by Ferguson to the Bruins zone. Ferguson's after Ray Bork. Bork spin it up the left wing to Secord. Couldn't get it out. McAdam to Ferguson. Around that net. Back to McAdam. Went right by. Right point. Penguins can't keep it in. Lonsberry steers it over to Bob Stewart. We've played just over 2 minutes here in the first period, and there is no score. First playoff game in a best-of-5 series. Bruins can't get the attack going. Penguins won twice here in Boston on the regular season. Stackhouse and Anderson back out, and Kim Davis on here with Rod Shutt and Rick Kehoe. And we have an offside play against the Bruins. So we'll break. There is no score here in Boston, and this is the Penguins Hockey Network. Kim Davis handling the face-off, and Craig McTavish of the Bruins on with Stan Jonathan and Rick Middleton. Middleton, the leading scorer for the Bruins this year, a high stick on that puck. And they'll call for a face-off. Middleton had 92 points. Best pro year ever. In fact, he's led the Bruins in scoring the last couple of years. Penguin netminder Greg Millen, 22 years old. Rob Holland in a backup role. Inside the Penguin line. The puck drop comes to Dick Redmond. Redmond enjoyed a good season. Bruins finished with 105 points, 46 wins. Jonathan and Davis collide out of the corner. And Rick Kehoe scrambles to take the puck. Ramblin' Rick coming up the left side. Over to center, play it up into the Bruins end, an offside play. Rod Shutt ahead on the left wing. A lot of whistles here in the early going, Terry. Neither club able to really get too much of an offense going. Gary Doak, veteran defenseman who seems to always play well against Pittsburgh. He and Dick Redmond, the pairing out here. So Harry Sinden going with the two rookies together, the two veterans, Redmond and Doak.
Kim Davis out there, one of a half-dozen Penguins playing in their first Stanley Cup playoff game tonight.
Doak over to Redmond. Lead it up ahead. Stackhouse intercept. And it comes back to Bruins ice. Redmond. Pass it out. Jonathan couldn't handle it. Kim Davis will. Davis pass right to Middleton. Kehoe took it away from him. Nobody can find the puck. Kehoe now has it. Coming to the Bruins end. Shot again offside. That's twice now he's been offside on that left wing.
Everybody's anxious. Everybody wants to get that first goal, get their club off to the good start.
The other problem is this is a brand new line starting the playoffs. And back we go with another. Mark Johnson has not hit the ice along with Peter Lee as of yet. 16:52 to go in the first period, no score. Played up into the Bruins zone. Gary Doak. Far side to Redmond. And back to Doak again. Center to Craig McTavish. Cut around Hughes. Left side. McTavish in. Shot block. Comes free to Doak. Look out. Pokes it into the corner behind the net. Craig McTavish and Middleton right there. Stewart trying to muscle them out of the play. In behind. They'll freeze it. We played 3.5 here in the first period. Now Doak dumping that puck off. He's not a goal scorer by any means. Doak this year did not have a goal, 5 points. He did have one against Pittsburgh last year, maybe 2.
Yeah, he always seemed to come up big against us. But made a smart play. There's so many times you see defensemen, when they have it, they just try and overpower that forward that's coming out to check him. They'll shoot it and end up getting themselves in trouble. And this time he just pushed it into the corner, hoping a forward would be there.
Maybe a Brad Park, Dennis Potvin, maybe a Redmond can do that. Here's Middleton from the face-off. A great glove save by Millen. Middleton headed for that upper corner, the far side. And a great glove save by Millen.
Right off the draw. Comes back to Rick Middleton, 40-goal scorer. McTavish, Middleton high, and Millen makes the big save right off the bat. 16:28 remaining in a scoreless first period.
All right, action again from behind the Pittsburgh goal. Bob Stewart. McTavish putting pressure on Stewart. Finally comes out to Greg Shepard. Long lead pass right by Libby. We're going to have another icing call against Pittsburgh. And it is, and back they come into Pittsburgh territory. We'll break. There is no score here at the Garden in Boston, and this is the Penguins Hockey Network. see Jean Rattel for the first time tonight for the Bruins with Don Marcotte and Wayne Cashman. George Ferguson out for the Penguins. Left point, Milbury, a shot deflected. Rolls up into the near corner. Rattel was out for 8 games with a bad back. Just came back on Sunday in a 4-2 victory over Minnesota in the final regular season game. Penguins force the attack into the Bruins zone. Milbury, McAdam go in behind the net. McAdam draped over by Milbury, pulled down. Puck comes right in front of the net. McAdam made a good play to get it out in front. Nobody there. Cashman now rambling back. His 13th year with the Bruins. All 13 years they've made the playoffs. McAdam steals around Milbury. Into the Bruins in. Park to beat. Tough job. Park takes him off the puck. Cashman passes it out to Rattel up the left side. Marcotte fell down. They have an outside play. McAdam was inside the blue line.
Mike, you talk about Wayne Cashman. 4 players on this Boston club have played in over 100 playoff games. John Rattel with 117. He's trying to become the 16th player in Stanley Cup history to score 100 points. He has 98 career points. Wayne Cashman's been in 115 games. Don Marcotte 108 and Brad Park 115. A lot of experience.
Banked away by Milbury to Don Marcotte into the Pittsburgh zone. Shot away to the net. Millen again stops it. Play it up the glass, up into the seats here at the Garden. Harry Sinden was quoted as saying, well, we should just take care of Pittsburgh very easily. And on paper, the way things have gone, he's right. But sports, this is why sports is really what it's all about. Anything and everything has happened in sports, as you well know. And even though you're going into a series with all the momentum in the world, it doesn't always happen that way. Davis comes off. Shepard handles the face-off in his own end. Rattel 1. Millen steer it over far side. Shepard, right wing to Keogh, back to Shepard. Left wing past a shot off his blade. Chase it down to the Bruins end. Park is after him. Shot coming in. Took the shot. Cheevers made the stop. First shot for the Penguins. Cashman out the left wing. Goes to Jean Rattel. Up for Marcotte. Looked like an offside play. It's delayed and it's waved off as the Penguins clear to center. Wayne Cashman spin it over far side to Mike Milbury. Off a skate into the Pittsburgh zone. Millen handles the puck. Leave it for Schutte. Over skated. Kim Davis. Pittsburgh territory. Out to Bob Stewart. He's a former Bruin. The rod shut. Poke check by Brad Park. He'll get it back. Park's pass came off a leg. Park now rambling up ice. Park to the Penguin line. Through traffic. Offside play. Hallelujah, Hollywood. When Park starts that rush, although the legs aren't quite there, he's dangerous. We will break. There is no score here at the Garden in Boston. And this is the Penguins Hockey Network. The Penguins have Greg Shepard back on here with Libet and Pat Hughes against Peter McNabb's trio with Bobby Lalonde and O'Reilly. This is the Bruins club that if you can get by the first period, you've got a shot against them. They have just dominated the opponent in the first period this year, outscoring them 100 goals to 62. And off the far side, they'll freeze it in the Pittsburgh end. That has been the Bruins' strongest period, and especially here at home. And remember this, we would go to overtime, sudden death overtime now if we're tied at the end of regulation time in Stanley Cup competition. Pete McNabb, who finished with 40 goals on the regular season despite missing 6 games under a suspension. His highest ever was 41. Shepard can't get the attack going. Here's Ray Bourque. Shove it into the Penguin zone. After it, Libet. O'Reilly moving in on him. Libet couldn't clear. O'Reilly has the puck. Anderson ties him up. Comes free now to McCrimmon. And off the boards, McCrimmon knocked down. Play will continue right in front of the Pittsburgh bench, and they'll freeze it. Well, we expected the game maybe to be a little bit more physical here in the first opening minutes of play, but it really hasn't been, Terry. And Penguins will take this style of game because that's basically their game, skating and waiting for the break.
Well, the Bruins really haven't had that many rushes where they've had a chance to throw it into the corner and let their wingers go in and do some of the work. There have been an awful lot of offside calls in the first 6 minutes of play.
McNabb won the draw from Shepard. Shepard has not fared too well here on the faceoffs in this first period. Stewart playing up the right wing side. Back to the Bruins line. Bourque over to Brad McCrimmon. And to Brandon. First year as a pro. The Bourque lead it up. Carlisle, good job of checking there. Shepard now to Hughes. Into the Bruins in left wing pass. Libet, who was behind it. Hughes goes after it. And couldn't make the play. And O'Reilly steers it up into the Penguin zone. Carlisle touches. We have an icing call against Boston. Terry, let's take a look at the other series underway tonight in the National Hockey League and Stanley Cup competition.
Well, there'll be a few games getting started quite soon. Atlanta will go against the New York Rangers. Atlanta has only won 1 playoff game in their history. Vancouver at Buffalo. Los Angeles will be at the New York Islanders. Edmonton at Philadelphia. Hartford at Montreal, where the Canadiens have only lost 3 games in the Forum since 1976 in the playoffs. Toronto at Minnesota. St. Louis at Chicago, where the Blackhawks have lost 16 straight playoff games.
Brad McCrimmon sets it up behind the Bruins goal. Chevers, who has been tested only once here in the first 6.5 minutes. Watching McCrimmon pass it up now to Bork. Lead pass for McNabb. Stewart trying to slow him down. Comes behind the Pittsburgh goal. Millen whacks it to the far corner. Comes back behind the net. McNabb centers. Millen knocks it away right out of the air. Good play by Greg. O'Reilly around the net. O'Reilly centers right to Peter Lee. Lee storms back for the Penguins. First time on the ice. Shoots it away to the left wing corner. Lonsberry, who has logged more action in playoffs than any other Penguin, 92 games, comes to Lalonde, out to center to Bork. Right wing pass to O'Reilly. Anderson can't stop him. O'Reilly put it in front. Ferguson blocked that. And the counterattack by the Pittsburgh Penguins. And here's Russ Anderson. Long shot in. Chevers makes that save. Quickly sent it away to Bob Miller. Chevers just so great with that stick. 39-year-old goaltender. Played quickly back to the Penguins near corner. Anderson has to hurry. Double team. Gets it around the boards to Peter Lee. Hit by Redmond. Far corner Pittsburgh's on. They double team Ferguson. Finally scored free to Peter Lee. And he just sends it out of his own zone back to center ice. Redmond again has the puck and flips it away back to Penguin territory. Bruins coming on a little bit right now. Stackhouse to touch, though. We've got an icing call again against Boston. Well, the Penguins, when they've had to get the puck out of their own end, they've been working the corners and moving it out. Despite the Bruins trying to take advantage of the play here at the Garden. Bobby Miller with Secord and Cashman. And here's Mark Johnson for the first time tonight.
And a reminder, Game 2 of this series will be simulcast on Thursday night at 7:30. And the home game for the Penguins, the Game 3 of the series, Saturday night at the Civic Arena at 8 p.m.
Anderson with a shot. If he'd have had that one on net, he might have beaten Chevers. He was a little bit slow on it. Keogh behind the goal. Centers, shot there. Can he tee it up? He can't. Cashman clears it up the left wing to Secord. Stackhouse turned him around. Penalty coming up against Stackhouse. First penalty of the night. Shutt will get the puck. Mark Johnson and Al Secord have a chat. And we'll have a penalty coming up against Pittsburgh. We'll break the score. Pittsburgh nothing, the Bruins nothing. And this is the Penguins Hockey Network.
Hey, Terry, new photos?
You bet. Just picked these up at the Snap Shop at Giant Eagle.
A supermarket?
Yeah, Giant Eagle's got this new process for developing 35mm film. It's called Super Pro 35.
Sounds pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Look how big and clear these prints are. And if you don't like them, Giant Eagle will take them back. Here's one of me at the ranch. I like this one. Here's one of me scoring. I like that one. Here's one of me getting sacked. I don't like that one. It goes back.
Super Pro 35, exclusively at Giant Eagle.
Pittsburgh's Ron Stackhouse picks up the first penalty of the game for holding Al Secord. Penalty comes at 7:55 of the first period. Stackhouse for holding.
Now the Bruins go to work on the power play. They were fourth in the league this year. It has suffered a bit over the last couple of weeks with the missing John Rattel, and he's out there now with O'Reilly and Middleton. Park and Bork will be the point men. Base in the Penguins end. Right point. Brad Park. Shot. Missed the net. Comes in front. Hand pass called against Pittsburgh. Carlisle shoved it ahead to Nick Libet. Penalty killers, Shepard and Libet. Penguins finish the season 18th in the league in penalty killing, 74.1. But that's a little bit deceptive, Terry, because the Penguins really had much better penalty killing the final month of March and the first week of April.
Well, no question, except for those 3 goals that they gave up in 71 seconds against Washington about 2 weeks ago, and they were 2 men short. They never gave up more than 1 goal going down the stretch.
Face off, left point. Bork couldn't hold it. Shepard moves in against him. Bork and the veteran Park working the points. Park in his own zone, pass it across to Ray Bork. And now leads it ahead to Rattel, up to O'Reilly. O'Reilly spins it up the left wing boards. Rattel is 39 years old. This Bruins team has some age on it. Around that net, loose puck. Anderson stuff it against the meshing. I think Millen held that puck with the right hand. It's tough to see from our angle. And on our TV sign, a look at Russ Anderson in his 4th year with the Penguins.
On the year, John Rattel led the Bruins with 14 power play goals. Peter McNabb with 11.
Middleton left point. Here is Bork. Fake a shot. Go to Middleton. He is so dangerous. Shove it towards the net. Deflected. Goes behind the goal to Rattel. And O'Reilly's right in front of that net trying to play havoc with Anderson. Middleton left point. Bork a shot. Cleared by Anderson. Good play. Middleton now behind the Pittsburgh goal. Wheel and deal. Centers it. Came to Carlisle. Randy spin it away to the near boards. Park moves in. He'll handle the puck for the Bruins. Shooter towards the net. Carlisle broke it up. Penguins can't clear. In front, Rattel. Shot. Saved by Miller. Millen stopping John Rattel from point-blank range. Middleton behind the goal. Power play on for the Bruins. Left wing corner. Rattel tied up. Loose. O'Reilly works it free. Shepard's on him. Left point. Bork. Slap shot. Deflected by Shepard. 45 seconds to go on the Stackhouse penalty. So Rattel denied by Greg Millen and a fine save in front of the net. Shepard checking Park. It comes free to Bork now. Outlet pass left wing by Middleton. Here's Millen out of the net. Lost it to Middleton around that goal. Middleton centers. Shot by Rattel. Middleton near corner to Rattel. Back to Middleton. Beyond his reach, he goes after it. McAdam trying to check Middleton. Middleton in the circle, trying to set it up. McAdam steals, and he shoots it away to take the heat out of a hot kitchen. Cheever so quick. He gets out to hurry up the little bit of time they've got left. He hurries to play along to Bork. Bork the center, flying like the wind. Down the left side. Stops in the Penguin zone. Looking, Scott Park open. Pass just off his stick. He goes back, sets it up, shot. Stopped by Miller. Around the net, Bork. In front to Miller. Off his stick. Penalty is over. Stackhouse comes on. Right point. Here's Ferguson. Trying to take it away from Park, and it goes to Bobby Miller. Now Bork softly sends it back to the Penguins in. Bruins came on the power play, but the Penguins kill the penalty. Secord ramming Stewart to the boards behind the Penguin net, and we will get a face-off in the Pittsburgh zone. Well, Millen has been tough here in the first period, stopping the Bruins on a couple of tough saves.
Well, he almost got a little bit too involved in the play, tried to clear the puck, lost control, and the next thing you know, John Rattel was out in front, had the shot, but put it wide. Rattel had two good chances during that power play. Millen stopped him cold on the one. Rattel shot it wide on the other.
Bruins were Stanley Cup champions in 71-72. They've won the Stanley Cup 4 times in their history. Penguins have been to the semifinals once. Face-off to McCrimmon, shot deflected by Lonsberry. Millen again actively away from that net. Lonsberry could not clear. Cashman tried to hit Miller in the slot. Anderson knocked down Miller, and there's a penalty there. That one was a tough call. Anderson's going to go off and will break. There is no score in the first period here at the Garden. This is the Penguins Hockey Network.
Wander's remodeling their Eastland store. And the walls aren't the only thing coming down. The prices are coming down. Everything must be sold to make room for the contractors. So while we're clearing out, you can clean up on all audio equipment. Get stereo receivers starting at $59. Turntables starting at $29. Speakers from $19. That's like giving them away. We'll give you credit, plus a whole lot more. Come and get it. Wander's remodeling sale at their Eastland store. Don't miss it.
Pittsburgh picks up their second penalty of the game. Russ Anderson goes off for interference at 10:20. Interference on Bob Miller. Puts a stick on him. Miller with a little bit of a dive, but referee Bob Myers makes the call. Pittsburgh shorthanded for the second time.
Anderson did not complain. The Penguins maybe have taken the approach. Don't say anything. Let's just wait our time. We'll get our chance. Here's Park. Blue line. Shot. Deflected. Shepard can't find it. Park again a drive. Block. Carlisle skates out 2-on-1 shorthanded. Carlisle and Ferguson, left side. Move it in, looking, and he can't get the pass there. Bork with a great defensive play. There were the Bruins back power play. This could be a turning point. Park, slap shot deflected by Stackhouse to the crowd. Well, Carlisle had a golden chance there, and Bork just made a better play than he did. Let's pause 5 seconds to let our stations identify themselves. This is the Penguins Hockey Network.
WPGH-TV, Pittsburgh.
Randy Carlisle trying to hit George Ferguson wide open, but Ray Bork gave himself up, dove at the puck, and made the big defensive play of the game. Hens were shorthanded at the time.
In the Penguins' end, right in the slot area. McNabb pulls it back to Park. Left side, Ray Bork. That could be a turning point. Here's Park, a shot deflected by Libet, and he clears. 1:25 to go on the penalty to Russ Anderson. So the Penguins have picked up the first 2 penalties of this game. We are still scoreless. 9 minutes left, period number 1. Park again. Off the right side to McNabb. To Middleton. Right wing boards, Penguin zone. Middleton centers. Good play. Shepard deflected it back to center. Bork trying to get in, and Shepard, who uses that stick as well as anybody on the Penguins, gets it back towards his own net. Here's Millen, and he spins it out of his own zone. Park chasing back for the puck. Crowd is alive here at the Guard. Park on the right side of Middleton. Ferguson chasing him, cutting in on goal. Centered it. Off a skate. The Park at the blue line. Brad Park trying to beat McAdam. Throw it down the boards. McNabb is after it. Stewart got a piece of that. McNabb puts the stick into George Ferguson. Now Stewart trying to clear, and Ferguson does. Right to center ice. 30 seconds to go in the penalty to Russ Anderson. Bruins again lead it up on the power play. They have the man advantage. Cashman, Penguin zone. Left wing corner, centers it, came off a stick. McNabb goes behind the net to Middleton. Back to McNabb by himself. McNabb out to the left point. Milbury, slap shot, save Millen, rebound, Middleton. Hit a stick of Millen. What a save by Millen there. Stopping Middleton. Right behind the net. Middleton again in front. And Cashman shot. Save again, Millen. Great balls of fire. Middleton in front. Can't get a shot out. Here come the Penguins. Penalty is over. Anderson back on. Oh, Millen just playing a heck of a game. Offside play, Pittsburgh. Well, you'd almost have to be here to believe it. Millen just stopping the Bruins. They've had about a dozen to 13 shots here in this first period, I'd say. And the Pens' little goaltender out of Toronto is really doing the job against Boston.
Well, we said going in we were going to need the goaltending. Milbury with a shot. Millen out in front of the congestion.
That was a great save there.
Cashman down, laying in front. Millen has to work his way around him. Middleton trying to bring it out in front. Goes to Cashman with the backhander. Middleton and Millen with another save.
Don Marcotte, leave it at center. Mark Johnson of Pittsburgh wraps it off the board. Free. Marcotte trying to play it out. Carlisle took it back in. Goes to Johnson now. Outside of the blue line. Backhanded away to the Bruins zone. Johnson after Redmond. Redmond skates away from that check. 7:13 to go. First period. No score. McTavish off. Left wing. Comes into the Penguins in. Offside play. Well, that's what it was going to take, I think, for the Penguins. They've got to get some offense going now. If they can get the goaltending from Greg Millen, and we mentioned earlier, it would be a big benefit to them. A look at Mark Johnson on our TV side. Mark has a habit of coming up big in money games. Carlisle spins a puck to Keogh, and now the Johnson-Keogh shut line is back together. Bruins bring it from their own zone. McTavish now to the Pittsburgh line. Runs it to Johnson. Offside play again, Boston. They're getting caught on offside plays, and the Penguins are standing Boston up pretty good at the blue line, Terry.
Well, Mark Johnson standing in there just long enough to force Craig McTavish to take a little bit of a dip and bring one of his wingers on the offside. 6:57 remaining first period. No score. And just about right now, they're dropping the puck in a few other cities as Stanley Cup playoff action continues.
Game 1 of this best-of-5 series. Game 2 on Thursday. Game 3 in Pittsburgh on Saturday night. Here is Redmond at the center red line. High in the air to the Penguins in. Shot by Millen. And that'll be Omar Moreno catch. He'll hold on to it. 6:44 left in the opening period. Nice to have Harry Tate back with us. He's not going to be with us too long, I guess, Terry.
Well, I guess this is the last game he'll be working with us. They've kicked him upstairs, got a promotion, vice president in charge of something. We'll have to call him Mr. the rest of the way.
All right, Mr. Tate, you just let us know when you want us to go to a break. Commercial. We'll follow your advice. Jonathan here against Mark Johnson. In the Penguins end. Anderson. Around that far side to Ron Stackhouse. And by Kehoe deep into the Boston end. Will we get an icing call or not? No coming back for it. Yes, we will. Icing called against the Penguins. The Bruins goaltending this year. 5 different goaltenders played, although a couple of players only played one game. But a goals against average of 2.93. Way behind the Vezina winners, the Buffalo Sabres. We're down on that 2.50 mark. But still good enough for second place. Bruins are a stingy team. Left point, Redmond, slap shot. Oh, deflected, and Millen made that save. Got the skate on it. Shut now. Steers it up out of his own zone, back to Bruins territory. Well, the Bruins certainly have lived up to putting the puck on net. The name of the game so far has been Greg Millen, who has stopped every shot thrown at him. Penguins haven't had any offense at all. Right from the Bruins line, an offside play.
Can't tell you what the shots are. They used to have a shot clock here on the scoreboard, but looks like they've covered it up during the Stanley Cup playoffs. Here's the shot by Dick Redmond from the point. Redmond has a hat trick in Stanley Cup playoff action while he's with Chicago, and Millen catches just with the top of his knee.
Greg Shepard out here against Craig McTavish, and Carlisle shoots it up into the Bruins zone. Redmond now left side to Jonathan, couldn't handle the pass. Carlisle puts it back into Bruins territory. Right wing corner, Hughes is after. Redmond played it away from him. Nick Libet left side. Dope comes in to grab the puck. Left wing pass on Jonathan's skate. Comes into Pittsburgh territory. Carlisle gave it away to Jonathan. Jonathan, left wing corner, moving quickly to the left point, passing to Bourque. Good play to keep it in. Shot towards the net. Carlisle, good effort there, stopped it. Out to Nick Libet. Libet's long shot. Libet has been in 2 years of playoff competition, 11 games, and he scored 5 goals. So he could be a factor. Again at center ice, Marcotte banks it away to the Penguin zone. Shepard behind the net with 5:24 to go. First period, no score. Shep's pass up in Lonsbury. Let it deflect, try to hit Hughes. Intercepted by McCrimmon. And up ahead to Jonathan. Bouncing away to the Penguins' left wing corner. Millen comes out of the net. Round to Bob Stewart. Behind the goal. Miller's got it. Carlisle stripped it off his stick. It's Stewart and O'Reilly going to the corner. Secord. Now Miller to Secord. Shot. Another great save there by Millen. He's stopping some tough shots. Return shot by Secord. And Millen is having himself a heck of a first period, folks. 4:58 to go, first period, no score. This is the Penguins Hockey Network.
Have you checked the prices of oranges, grapefruits, and orange juice lately? To give you some idea of how costs have gone up, to get a half-gallon of orange juice, you would have to squeeze about 2 dozen oranges, and you know what they cost. This is Daly's. Daily juice products are made with natural fruit juices, plus the pulp, the natural fiber of the fruit, and they have extra vitamin C. Daly says compare the flavor, the quality, and the price.
Berkey Flyer out for the Penguins. Finished the year with 21 goals, Terry.
Right.
Left point, Bork. His shot never got to the net. Bob Miller. Pulled down by Ferguson. Play continues with the right of the Penguin goal. 2 penalties in the period, both against Pittsburgh. Miller trying to one-arm it out of front. Greg Millen right there. Comes to O'Reilly. He's sandwiched to the boards by Anderson, who put a good body check on him. Anderson of the Pens out to Ferguson. Now ahead to McAdam, just by Israel. Outstretched reach. Whacked at by Miller. An offside play. O'Reilly was ahead of the play. Well, the Penguins had one good chance to score here in the first period. Short-handed on a 2-on-1 break, and Ray Bork stopped that. The Bruins have had innumerable number of chances around the Penguin goal, and Millen has stopped every shot they've put at him. We are down to 4.5 to go.
George Ferguson playing in his 50th playoff game tonight. He has 10 goals, 10 assists, 20 points to his credit, but he was the last player to score 3 goals in 1 period. That came in 1978 against the LA Kings, and 3 goals in 1 period.
Certainly had a big one for the Penguins last year. Who can forget that one? Beating Buffalo in overtime. Harry Altate can forget it. He wasn't there. Quizzical look. Here's Bob Stewart shooting the puck to the Bruins on. Beavers lays it off to Ray Bork. Bruins defenseman. Black and gold against black and gold. And Miller now shoots it into the Penguins' right wing corner. Cashman goes after it. Lonsberry checks him. From behind the net, Miller. Wheel and deal. Left point pass to Bork. Shot. Stopped by Carlisle. Penalty coming up. Bob Stewart. Shot by Secord. Stopped by Millen. Whistle blows. Interference call. I think it's a penalty against the Penguins. Bob Stewart.
Stewart's going to go off for interference, and they're going to bring the face-off outside for a high stick infraction.
4:03 left, period number 1. We will break, and this is the Penguins Hockey Network.
My family says I make the world's greatest sandwiches. I like that. So I always start with the best, Fort Pitt brand deli meats, because no sandwich is ever going to taste any better than what you've put in it. Well, I've tried others, but never again. Read a Fort Pitt label. Only select cuts of pure, fresh beef and pork. U.S. inspected in Fort Pitt's spotless plant. You've got the world's greatest family. They deserve the best.
I think the team in black tonight is the old big bad Bruins. He's called 3 straight penalties against the Pen. Bob Stewart off for interference at 15:57.
Millen has that puck and moves it back to center. Well, if the Penguins kill this one, it's going to give them a big lift and confidence builder if they can keep the Bruins off the board here in this first period especially. And you've got a feeling things might change as far as penalties are being called. Offside play against the Bruins. Their 3rd chance on the power play. They had the 4th best power play unit in the league this year, scoring 60 times. There is Ray Bork, who finished with 65 points. He's up on the left wing with Rattel, Middleton on the forward lines. The appointment will be Redmond and Brad Clark. Anderson finds the opening, steers it up to the Bruins line. Redmond stops the puck, passing left wing up to Bork. Now to Rattel. Puck taken away from him by Russ Anderson. And the Bruins again forced back to center with 1.5 to go on the penalty to Bob Stewart. Here's Park coming to the Penguin line. Right side, Shepard watches him closely. Beat it behind the Pittsburgh net. Anderson around left side. Shepard trying to clear. Can't do it. Park has it. Park, right point, John Rattel. Left side, Redmond. Will he shoot? Yes. Shot saved. Millen. Rebound. Put up in the air and whacked up to the near side. Rattel will touch it, and the puck is it's waved off. There'll be no whistle. Park a shot deflected. Goes off the glass behind Millen. Middleton trying to center. Penguins trying to clear out. Bork in front of that net. Stackhouse doing a good job. Here's Park. Near side to Middleton. Middleton centers across left side. Redmond losing the puck. Levitt's after the disc. Stackhouse did an excellent job of moving Bork away from that net, keeping that area clear for Millen. The Penguins clear it up ice. 40 seconds to go on the penalty. Cashman, and he is so tough around that goal. Shot away to the Penguin zone. Talon will touch it. Icing calls Boston, and the Penguins getting a big lift from their penalty killing here at times in this first period.
I think Boston might have had the wrong man in front. Ray Bork, who you see there, number 7, the rookie, landed in front, but Ron Stackhouse, all he had to do was just put a little bit of pressure on him and move Bork out of the play, kept knocking him off his skates. There is a knack to standing in front there. The Holmgrens, the Dornhoffers, they're big, they're solid, they've got a low weight balance, they spread the legs, and they make it impossible for you to move them out of there. And I'm sure Bork in years to come will learn that talent, but right now he was out of position.
The Bruins have the puck, and it'll be Bobby Lalonde out here working the left lane. Bork sits down. Bork is a pretty big boy. He's close to 200 pounds. It'll be McNabb now coming to center. Just glides along that ice, shoots it up into the Penguin zone. Millen couldn't stop it. Comes to the near corner. O'Reilly puts the hip towards McAdam. Talon has the puck, and he clears. Yes, he does to Ferguson. He's tough here. Look out. He cuts in around Milbury. Into the Bruins end. Looking. Got Talon in front. Moves in. His shot. Cheevers made the save on Talon from right in front. Excellent play by Ferguson there. On a backdoor pass to Talon. He was in, but he couldn't beat Jerry Cheevers. Here are the Bruins back. Penguins on. O'Reilly, right wing shot. Stick save, Millen. McAdam trying to find the opening, couldn't clear. Look out, McNabb passed across, and now it's deflected to the left point, kept in by Bobby Lalonde. Penalty is over. Carlisle bank it away to the near side. McAdam, and he shoots it back to center. 1:43 to go in the opening period. There is no score. Game 1 of this best-of-5 series. Milbury of Boston shoots it off the left wing boards, right behind the Pittsburgh net. Millen steering over to McAdam, tied up by O'Reilly. O'Reilly just keeps working, and they'll freeze it. Near side boards of the Pittsburgh zone. So the Penguins again coming up with a chance to score. They couldn't beat Jerry Cheevers.
Very encouraging first period. George Ferguson brings it in, gets Mike Milbury dancing around a little bit. Dale Talon will come into your picture on the right, and there's Ferguson with a behind-the-back pass. Talon whiffs on it, gets the second part of it, but Cheevers deflects it up over the net. And the Pens, with their 2 best scoring chances tonight, have been while the Pens were shorthanded. Pittsburgh penalized 3 times here in the first period. The Bruins none. A minute 25 remaining in a scoreless first period.
Craig McTavish will move on here. Jonathan and Middleton will be his wingers. The 2 defensemen will be Ray Bork, Etta Verdun, and Brad McCrimmon. 2 rookies. Face-off in the Penguins' end. Their first Stanley Cup competition. Anderson behind the Pittsburgh goal. Lead it up ahead to Pat Hughes. Hughes now coming back to the Bruins line. He complied. Lets the slap shot go, and the stick save made by Cheevers. Right wing corner. Libet and Hughes chase after the puck against McCrimmon. They'll tie it up. And if I'm not mistaken, Terry, I think that's either the first or second time the Penguins have gotten a face-off in the Bruins in this entire first period.
Well,
not
they
too
had
many.
one or 2 icings before that, but as you say, play mainly has been in the Pittsburgh end tonight. And Pittsburgh's only had 2 or 3 real good scoring chances. Set 2 of them while they were shorthanded. Pat Hughes with a good long shot there.
Tavish won the draw from Shepard. Behind the Boston goal. Ray Bork over to Brad McCrimmon. Less than a minute to go in the period. In front of the Pittsburgh bench. Libet now shooting the puck to Russ Anderson. Back to the Penguin zone to Libet. Right wing pass to Pat Hughes off his stick, and Ray Bork now lost the puck. Hughes gets it from Stackhouse, and Hughes is knocked down by McCrimmon off the near boards, Boston territory. And it is shot rink wide, picked off by Libet, and he banks it back into the Bruins right wing corner. Bork takes it behind the net. Hughes checking him. McCrimmon put the stick into Hughes, and Hughes looks around to referee Bob Myers as if to say, hey, no high stick there. Got him up in the mouth area. But Myers let that one go, and he was standing right there. I think it was more or less he didn't figure it was intentional. They were just skating by one another.
Well, McCrimmon and Hughes had a little set right before that out at the blue line. McCrimmon came up, and Hughes had a high stick, and he might have just given him a little tap on the helmet because McCrimmon went back after him, and he's still looking over towards Pat Hughes. Wants to mark the number down.
Well, Hughes won't forget it. 29 either.
He looks. McCrimmon has a little bit of a cut. The trainer's getting ready to put a little little Band-Aid on him.
Ferguson and McTavish match it up in the Bruins' end. Comes to Lonsberry, left point to Stewart. Bank it into the corner to Lonsberry. Went behind the net. McAdam to Lonsberry. Lonsberry now looking. Trying to make a play here. Lonsberry in the corner. Tied up by Milbury. Still loose, and McTavish now comes over to take the puck. McTavish right wing to Middleton. He is hit. Sent back to center. Off the glove of Lonsberry. Penguins touch it here, and they have it. Carlisle put it in behind the Bruins net. 2 seconds to go in the period. And a good first period for the Penguins in game 1 of this playoff series, Terry. They had 3 penalties. They killed them off. The Bruins unable to score in their most powerful period of the entire year, where they've outscored the opposition 100-62. And the Penguins come out of this one not allowing a goal.
Well, very encouraging. It started off kind of slow for the Pens, with Boston putting on a lot of pressure. But what we said at the top of the show, what we were going to need, good goaltending from Greg Millen, and we got excellent goaltending. Shots in the first period. Pittsburgh had 4, and Boston had 8, but they had several near misses. John Rattel with 2 good chances in close, and as we say, 8-4 of the shots Boston, but on the big board, no score.
I'll tell you, Terry, I thought it was more than 8 shots. I really did in that first period. It seemed like it. All right, the end of 1, the score. Pittsburgh nothing and Boston nothing, and this is the Penguins Hockey Network.
Sorry, we're closed. Oh, no.
Are you tired of your bank keeping banker's hours? Then come to Dollar Savings Bank for your everyday banking convenience. Every Dollar Bank Suburban office is open 1 or 2 evenings a week, but what's even more convenient is that every Dollar Bank Suburban office is open Saturdays till at least 1 o'clock. Switch to Dollar Savings Bank, the bank that gives you extra banking hours, evenings plus Saturdays.
This Bud's for everybody who helps build this country from the ground up.
This Bud's for you. For all you do, the king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do, this Bud's for you.
The Stan Severin Show is brought to you by American Motors. Test drive the American Eagle, the only family compact automobile with automatic 4-wheel drive at your local AMC Jeep dealer. American Motors, built for today, built to last for tomorrow. And now, here's Stan.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to our intermission between the first and second periods of tonight's Stanley Cup playoff game between the Penguins and Bruins. No score. I thought it was important the Penguins got out of that first period alive. Boston, as you saw, controlled the play in the first period, outshot the Penguins 8-4, but they certainly had the better chances at actually scoring a goal. It's a shop-worn phrase, no question about it, but the team with the hot goaltender has a chance in the playoffs, and certainly Greg Millen has done an outstanding job in the first period. As a matter of fact, when we go to our first period highlights, we're going to take a look, and most of them star Greg Millen. I think it's also important to note the Penguins, who had their difficulties on the penalty-killing unit, have done better the last month and certainly have done a good job tonight. And as a result of that, they've done an exceptional job of keeping the front of the net clear. It has been a problem they've had all year long, whether on 5-on-5 or on a penalty-killing situation. And if you remember last year's series against the Boston Bruins, in which the Pens lost 4 straight, although they played well in the last 3 of those 4 games, the Bruins scored time after time after time in front of the net. Cashman and McNabb, the primary culprits. The Penguins doing a good job of keeping the front of that net clear. That, of course, increases the chances of your goaltender for doing the job. One thing that did puzzle me early on in that first period was the breaking up of the Kehoe line with Mark Johnson centering. That had been the Pens' most productive line the last 3 weeks, but Johnny Wilson put them back together after the second shift of the hockey game. So we have no score, and again, the Pens have killed off 3 power plays. That is important, no doubt. Stanley Cup playoffs begin tonight. All the teams in action, the 16 out of 21 that make it. I can't say that I am firmly in the corner of having 16 of 21 make it, but at least the 3 out of 5 series I think is a better test than the 2 out of 3, so perhaps that's a positive note. Let's take a look now at the final standings by the points in the National Hockey League this season. 16 of the 21 teams make it. You're looking at the top 7 here. We'll go through the entire group. Philadelphia, of course, with that 35-game unbeaten streak. The number 1 team with 116 points, Buffalo holding off a charge by Montreal at 110, then Montreal at 107, Boston at 105. Those are the top 4. Also getting home ice advantage, the Islanders, Minnesota North Stars, Chicago, all in a big battle. And the final team getting home ice advantage, the New York Rangers, beating out Atlanta by 3 points. Atlanta, by the way, won only 2 of their last 9 games, both against the Rangers. That's one of the matchups tonight. St. Louis in there at the 10th team, then Toronto in a real scramble. L.A. Penguins and Hartford in the playoffs. It's interesting that 16 teams, the league said, gee, what a great battle to create for 16th. However, if you look at Los Angeles being that 12th team in the playoffs, look at the battle that would have been for 12th place, so you would have had excitement anyway. Hartford making the playoffs as one of the expansion team, and the final 2, Vancouver and Edmonton, making the final 16 teams. And, of course, those are their first appearances in the Stanley Cup playoffs. This, obviously, is their first year in the league. Now, we want to take a look at the first-round matchups as they do. Number 1 plays number 16, and give you some information on each of the teams. Also, between the second and third period, in addition of our highlights, we're also going to be showing you the goal-scoring leaders, the best goaltenders this year in the regular season, and who's going to be a good shot to win the Vezina Trophy, although I'm sure we'll have to wait until the Stanley Cups and see who plays well there. So we'll take a look at the matchups in the playoffs, which begin tonight all over the league, 8 games on tap, and some information about each team and how they did against each other this year. And we'll be back with more of our show in a moment.
Does American Motors Concord DL give you more value than Citation?
We think so. Citation has a 14-gallon gas tank. Concord has a 22-gallon gas tank. Think about that this weekend. Concord DL gives you more standard luxuries, individual reclining seats, full vinyl roof, and more, all at no extra cost. Even Z-Bart factory rust protection, and the only 5-year no rust-through warranty, the 1980 Concord.
American Motors. Built for today, built to last for tomorrow.
Some information about those teams that made the playoffs, not the overall league standings, but the playoffs. Most goals scored, or most wins, I should say, Philadelphia with 48. Both Buffalo and Montreal had 47 wins out of the 80 games played. The best offense of the teams in the playoffs, Montreal scored 328 goals, and the Philadelphia Flyers scored 327. Worst offense, the Chicago Blackhawks scored only 241 goals in the regular season. The Penguins, I'm sorry to say, had the second worst offense coming into the playoffs, 251 goals. Best defense, Buffalo, by far and away the best defensive team. Only 201 goals in 80 games this year. Boston second, 234. The worst defense, the Toronto Maple Leafs, 327 goals. And second behind Toronto, the Edmonton Oilers with 322 goals. Okay, let's take a look now at the matchups, and it all begins tonight at 8 different locations in addition to the Penguin-Boston game. Philadelphia against Edmonton. As you know, the Flyers, the number 1 team by the point standings. The Flyers had that 35-game unbeaten streak for sure. They lost only 1 game up until that point, that to Atlanta early in October. They went on the 35-game streak. They ended up with 12 losses. They have been stumbling. 12 losses, 20 ties on the air, and as you know, no ties in the playoffs. The Edmonton Oilers, of course, have Wayne Gretzky, and Wayne Gretzky tied for the scoring championship this year with Marcel Dion. We'll be showing you that a little bit later on. By the way, Edmonton went 8-2-1 their last 11 games in of the season when they acquired Ron Lowe to play goaltender. So Lowe, since he came to Edmonton, 8-2-1. Buffalo against Vancouver. Many people picking Buffalo for the Stanley Cup Finals. They come into the playoffs tonight against Vancouver with a 15-game unbeaten streak. Vancouver, by the way, is unbeaten in their last 5, winning 4 of those 5 games. Our next series, Montreal. The Canadiens going for their 5th consecutive Stanley Cup. They have done this before. That's the record from 1956 through 1960. The Canadiens won 5 in a row. If they win this year, they will also make it 5 in a row. They're unbeaten in their last 21. They lost only 4 games the second half of the season, 4 out of 40. Their opponent, the Hartford Whalers, their first time in the playoffs, obviously. Gordie Howe, 52 years old, 24th this year in the league in scoring. Interesting series here. New York Islanders, Los Angeles Kings, wide open. Islanders unbeaten in their last 12. And in those last 12 games, they got that unbeaten streak going after they had made the trade for Butch Goring from Los Angeles. So a rivalry there, unbeaten since Butch Goring came to the New York Islanders. Los Angeles, Marcel Dion, the scoring championship, tied with Gretzky. The Dion, Dave Taylor, Charlie Simmer line scored 146 goals. That is second to the Guy Lafleur, Steve Shutt, and Pierre LaRouche line with 147. But we should point out that Taylor and Simmer, between the missed 35 goals, they're only 1 behind the Montreal line. so they probably would have won the scoring championship had those guys not been hurt. We have the Minnesota-Toronto series. Minnesota was unbeaten in 10 before they lost their last 2 games of the season. Perhaps the most improved team in the NHL. Toronto, the worst defense of any club of the 16 in the playoffs. Chicago and St. Louis, interesting here because the Blackhawks have lost 16 straight playoff games. They've scored only 1 goal in their last 3.5 playoff games. So that happened a long time ago. And St. Louis has been getting nice goaltending out of Mike Leote. And the Rangers, they have not beaten Atlanta in Madison Square Garden, where the playoff series starts, in 3 years. Atlanta has been in 5 playoffs. This is their 6th. They are 1-12. Daniel Bouchard, their #1 goaltender, is 0-8 in the playoffs. And as I mentioned a little bit earlier, the Flames only won 2 of their last 9 games, both of them over the New York Rangers. And they haven't been beaten in Madison Square Garden in 3 years. We'll be back to take a look at first period highlights in a moment.
Look, Mom, cars are getting stuck.
Don't worry.
Introducing the American Eagle from American Motors.
That's Dr. Wayne.
Mrs. Green's baby is due, and I'm stuck.
The only family compact with automatic 4-wheel drive. Eagle's 4-wheel drive automatically directs power for traction, even to do this.
I hope Mrs. Green's baby won't look like Mr. Green.
The Eagle has landed on all 4s at American Motors.
Highlights of the first period, primarily defensive, mostly good jobs by Greg Millen. Penguins had their scoring opportunities, interestingly enough, on breakaways, shorthanded situations. Greg Millen on a great save by Rick Middleton. Middleton ticketing that puck for the upper corner. We'll watch it again here on the slow motion. Right from the draw, Middleton, bang, and there's Greg Millen. Boy, you need that hot goaltender, and Millen has come up big. The Pens, Ron Stackhouse was in the penalty box. They killed that off. Now here's Russ Anderson on Bob Miller getting a penalty here as he drags him down. And this was really an active power play because the Penguins shorthanded Carlisle and Ferguson. Great play by Ray Bourque. You know, they talk about Bourque being the next Bobby Orr. You saw a great defensive play there, breaking up a Penguin 2-on-1. Same power play. Millen makes a number of saves around the net, and here was Boston's best chance to get on the board. He makes the initial save. Puck comes from behind the net, and as you know, Bruins very physical. They're tough behind the net. That's Cashman, I believe. Another good save by Millen. And finally, the Penguins, again, shorthanded, come back, and we have Dale Talon and George Ferguson looking to hit Dale Talon in front of the net, but the puck rolls off his stick. Jerry Cheever's an active goaltender as well. So the Pens kill off the 3 power plays. Actually had 2 very good shorthanded opportunities on those power plays, but you don't want to keep giving Boston that chance. They were the 4th team overall on the power play in 1979-1980. All right, it's a scoreless tie. Can't hope for more than that. Now, back to the Boston Gardens with Mike Lang and Terry Schiffauer.
The Stan Savran Show has been brought to you by American Motors. Test drive the American Eagle, the only family compact automobile with automatic 4-wheel drive at your local AMC Jeep dealer. American Motors, built for today, built to last for tomorrow. And now, back to Mike Lang at ringside.
Back at the Garden in Boston, Mike Lang along with Terry Schiffauer here on our simulcast tonight. And the Penguins and Bruins in the first period scoreless. Bruins outshot Pittsburgh 8-4. The Penguins killed 3 penalties. This is a best-of-5 series now. Last year, the preliminary round was a best-of-3, but everybody's involved. All 16 teams that made the playoffs, they're involved in a best-of-5 series to move on to quarterfinal action. Terry, on the year, the Penguins were 2-2 against the Bruins. Ironically, the Penguins won 2 games here. The Bruins won 2 in Pittsburgh.
Well, it was a funny kind of series. October 15th was the first meeting here in Boston Garden. Greg Millen was sailing along on a shutout into the second period when he went down with a knee injury. Rob Holland came in, shut out the Bruins the rest of the way, making 19 saves. He ended up being the #1 star of the game, and the Pens responded with 4 goals. Peter Lee, Paul Marshall, his first in the National League, his first of 5 game-winning goals on the season, George Ferguson, and Nick Libet. The scene shifted to Pittsburgh November 10th, and the Bruins with a 6-1 win. Pete McNabb with a pair of goals in that game. And then January 26th, the Bruins won at Pittsburgh 6-4, and the Pens won 5-3 the next night in Boston.
All right, with the score, Pittsburgh nothing, the Bruins nothing. We will have the start of second period action in just a moment.
Catch that Pepsi Spirit.
Catch that Pepsi Spirit. Catch that Pepsi Spirit. Catch that Pepsi Spirit.
Eastland Store. And the walls aren't the only thing coming down. The prices are coming down. Everything must be sold to make room for the contractors. So while we're clearing out, you can clean up on all audio equipment. Get stereo receivers starting at $59. Turntables starting at $29. Speakers from $19. That's like giving them away. We'll give you credit, plus a whole lot more. Come and get it. Wander's remodeling sale at their Eastland Store. Don't miss it.
This is a TV 53 News Watch update with Mavis Logan.
Good evening. In news tonight, there is a tornado watch out until 11 p.m. tonight. That means there's a possibility of a tornado in western Pennsylvania in the counties of Erie, Crawford, Mercy, Lawrence, Venango, Butler, Beaver, Allegheny, Washington, and Greene. Even if the tornado does not hit, there will be strong thunderstorms in parts of western Pennsylvania. An 18-year-old Fayette County youth is being held today without bond on charges in the hanging death of 4-year-old Dominic Forcina Jr. near Merrittstown. We'll have details at 10:50. And Senator Ted Kennedy toured the Cyclops steel plant in Bridgeville today. He promised the steel workers there that if he's elected president, he will protect the American steel industry, particularly steel jobs. We'll have details of this and other news at 10:50 on Newswatch.
This has been a TV 53 News Watch update with Mavis Logan.
We're back to play in the second period. McNabb into the Penguin zone, and Nick Livett steers it back. Our apologies to you, joining the period just a little bit late, but nothing's happened. Milbury up to Bobby Lalonde, bank it away to the Penguins' left wing corner. Going for the puck, Russ Anderson. On the near side, I didn't see where the puck went. Did it jump over the glass? No, it's right up on the board. Now freeze it. Penguins will go to a quick change here. They'll bring on George Ferguson with Gary McAdam and Ross Lonsberry. There's a look at former Boston Bruins center iceman Greg Shepard. Shepard had himself an off year. There's no question about it. Chance now to redeem himself a little bit in the playoffs. McNabb left point to Milbury. Carlisle steers it out of its own zone. Penguins moving left to right. Brad Park with the puck. Passing to Peter McNabb. Right side of the Penguins in. Stewart to beat. He beats him. Goes behind the net. Tried to put it out in front, and Stewart banks it away up the near side. Coming to the near boards. It's a hard check by Lalonde on McAdam. Penguins trying to get the puck out of their own end. Having a bit of a problem. Now Lonsberry passes to Bob Stewart. He's just going to shoot it up the left wing boards by McAdam. Milbury has the puck for the Bruins. Scoreless second period. Game 1 of this best-of-5 playoff series. Millen behind the Pittsburgh net. Bob Stewart. Again, the left side pass for Lonsberry. Couldn't get to it. And the Bruins have the disc. McCrimmon to Mike Milbury. They break up the defensive pairings here a little bit. Harry Sinden does. Millen way out of the net. Banks it up the boards. McCrimmon has it. Played in behind the Pittsburgh goal. Miller and Carlisle. Miller works his way free. The Cashman in the near corner. Back to Miller. Right side McCrimmon. Shot. Never got to the net. Hit Secord. Stewart's all over Al Secord. Now Secord works it towards the goal. Carlisle spins it by the blue line and back to center ice. We played 2 minutes here in period number 2. Penguins and the Boston Bruins. Scoreless matchup. Miller plays it up to the Penguin line. Stewart could not clear. Secord on the right side. Feeds over to McCrimmon. Walks in a shot. Stick save made Millen. He didn't see it till the last second on a screen shot. Secord put it in the right wing corner to Wayne Cashman, who has always been tough against the Penguins. And they're going to get a face-off in the Penguins in. Cashman on the year. All right, we'll break. There is no score here at the Garden, and this is the Penguins Hockey Network.
This bud's for all you guys who keep the shiny side up and the rubber side down. This bud's for you.
This bud's for you.
For all the roads you ride and every place they take you to.
For all you do.
The king of beers is coming through. Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This bud's for you.
Penguins bring on Mark Johnson here with Rod Shutt and Rick Kehoe. Face-off Penguins in. McCrimmon a shot. That sailed wide of the goal. Kehoe's pass. Beyond the reach of Rod Shutt comes into the Bruins end. Cheevers is going to come out of the net. He's going to play the puck. Around to the near side. Penguins after it. Here's Kehoe digging for it. Force a mistake. Kehoe's got it. Shoot it towards the net. Goes all the way to the far side. Cashman of Boston corrals it. Bruins captain. Passing over to Ray Bork. Lead pass picked off by Anderson. Anderson a shot, and Cheevers made that save. The rebound, he clears it away to the far corner. Cashman being chased. Johnson after him. Bob Miller now with the Bruins. Slides it over to Ray Bork. Long shot. Millen got a piece of that. Johnson of Pittsburgh tried to clear. McCrimmon has it. Shot, broken stick, comes right to the net. Millen holds on. McCrimmon with a broken stick. And so the Penguins get the face-off again in their own territory, and they'll go to a line change. We've played exactly 3 minutes. We were talking about Cashman before we went to the break. He had 3 goals against Pittsburgh this year, Terry, on 3 shots, and he has just always been tough against the Penguins.
Well, not only that, he picked up 7 points, and on the series it was pretty even goal-wise, with the Bruins outscoring Pittsburgh 16-14. Cashman was a +4 on the ice. Only Ray Bork was a +5, had a better mark in that series.
We'll look at Brad McCrimmon on our TV side and the cut he sustained in the first period. Greg Shepard against Craig McTavish, the rookie, who was called up to this club from the American Hockey League. Played so well, he made it. Stokes shot, right point blocked. Comes back out of the Bruins zone. Redmond's after it. Plays it away from 2 Penguins to McTavish. Soft pass up to Middleton. Breaking to the Penguins end. Coming down. Tried to center it. Good play by Carlisle. Good defensive effort there by Randy Carlisle. Hughes out to Greg Shepard. Surveys the scene. Starts up. Knocked off his blade. Rick Middleton again for the Bruins. And Shepard got in to knock that away. Jonathan now. Look at Shepard work that stick. Boy, he is just a master sometimes at working it down the near side. Here's Shepard coming back. Bruins on. Shepard across the blue line, a slap shot. That's deflected up into the crowd. Little subtle thing that Shepard does, Terry. We were talking about his defensive skills, and he's picking it up now over the last 3 weeks to a month. But you can see him working with that stick, and he just doesn't give you any room. And that's a sign of a veteran and a player that really knows how to use all aspects of his game, and Shepard does that very well. Now, if he could get his goal scoring going, he certainly would, I think, feel a lot better and more confident.
Well, I think he and Oris Kinderchuk have that same kind of style. They're shifty. It'd probably be a key word for him. They don't give you a lot of speed, but when they go into the corners, they know where the puck is. They know how to come out with it. They know how to tie up their man, get in front of a man, and just be a general pest for 60 minutes.
Shifty, that's what they call you, isn't it? Long shot into the Bruins end. Severs makes that stop. Redmond behind the Bruins goal. Gave it away to Lonsberry, just unable to handle it. Now look out, 2-on-1 break. McTavish and Jonathan. Off to Jonathan, left side. Walks in, a shot, saved by Miller. Got the left leg on it, and Stackhouse falls on top of the puck. Well, Jonathan was open. He tried to put it between Millen's legs, and Greg came up again with a leg save, stopping Stan Jonathan.
Well, Stan Jonathan is the last player to score a hat trick in Stanley Cup playoff action. Did it against Montreal last year. Takes the pass from McTavish. There's the shot. Millen makes the save. McTavish tries to get the rebound, but a Penguin defender covers up.
16:05 to go, second period, no score. Redmond is shot, deflected by Anderson, who lost, or by one of the Bruins. Anderson lost the stick, comes in front to Jonathan, a shot blocked by Stackhouse. Rebound, Doak, he's shot it wide. McAdam trying to clear it out, and he does, just back to center. Somebody's lost a glove. Redmond to the Bruins line. Anderson without a stick. Played into the right wing corner, Penguins in. Millen going to grab that puck, and he was very smart there, very smart. He waited till a Bruin got around him and held the puck because Anderson did not have a stick. Excellent play by Greg Miller.
Exactly. If he'd have gone straight down on it and grabbed it, then, of course, Bob Myers would have had no course but to call the penalty for delay of game. But he waited until Cashman came in, made a play at it, and then Millen covered up, giving Russ Anderson a chance to get the stick. And now comes to the bench and is replaced by Randy Carlisle and Bob Stewart. Well, everything's underway in the other 7 games, but there's still not a goal on the scoreboard in Stanley Cup playoff action.
Not a goal here either. 15:40 to go, second period. Game 1. O'Reilly, right side of the Penguins end. Drop it off. Here's Park. Shot. Sails through on goal, and Millen makes the stop. Stewart trying to clear. Came off the boards. Bruins on the attack. McNabb put it in front. Deflected. McNabb behind the net. Can't hold it. Millen pulls it back to the machine, and he holds on right there. Now, Boston forcing the issue right now, trying to get on that scoreboard first. And the Penguins have to go to a change. They bring out Shepard, Libet, and Pat Hughes.
Not so much on this last play, but Greg Millen tonight has been very involved in the game from the standpoint of knocking down those centering passes. The Bruins like to do a lot of work from behind that net, get a man behind there, and then have their forwards crash towards the center and take that pass, and Millen's knocked a lot of them out of the air.
Park waiting, a shot again. That one missed wide right. Milbury in deep. Hughes putting pressure on him. O'Reilly knocked down by Carlisle. Around that net, and again Millen steers it near side to Hughes. Trying to get it out. Gave it away to Marcotte. Shot. Hit O'Reilly. Banks it over to the near corner. Hughes in. Lost the puck. Now Shepard up to Carlisle. Randy plays it up to Nick Libet. Libet to Shepard. Trying to get into the Bruins end, cannot do it. So Libet whacks it up in behind the Bruins net. O'Reilly takes Libet against the boards with a good hard check. McCrimmon behind the Boston net, passes out to McNabb. Penguins have had 3 penalties in this game, Bruins none. McNabb to the Penguin line, lost it to Carlisle, counterattacking now, looking for somebody. He's got Hughes. Plays it away to the Bruins zone. Behind the net, Cheever. Milbury around the near side to Don Marcotte. Marcotte skates by Rod Schutt. The center to O'Reilly. Lost it to Bob Stewart. Now Park again with control. Turns it away to the Penguin zone. Behind the net, Millen again actively with that stick. Marcotte took the pass. Keogh comes in to take the puck. Passing to Greg Shepard. And he gets it out of his own zone. He wants to get off the ice. Comes deep into the Boston end. Bork, very quick skater. Right side off Schutt's stick. Cashman got the disc. Out to center. Does not connect. Stackhouse right wing looking for Mark Johnson. Bork banks it away from him. And deep into the Penguin zone. I don't think there'll be an ice. Stackhouse will get the puck. There is no icing. Anderson's pass, left wing, Schutt's open. Got some room. Schutt to center ice. Left wing pass for Mark Johnson. He's taken out of the play by Cashman. Anderson has the puck, though. Man in front. There he is. Right in front. Keogh. He shoots it in and hit the post. Oh, Keogh hit the post. He had Cheever's beat. Penalty, Boston. Oh, great. Balls of fire. Ramblin' Rick, and they're giving about 3 dozen moves. He had Cheever's beaten, but he caught the post. Big Ben struck one. Penalty, Boston Bruins. McCrimmon will go off. And here is a chance for the Penguins. Boy, you could see Keogh in front of the net, and Anderson spotted him out of the corner of his eye, Terry. Great scoring chance.
Probably any other game, and it would have been a goal, but Rick Keogh he's got the tough luck in the playoffs.
We got a break. There is no score. Second period. This is the Penguins Hockey Network.
Continuous compounding of interest is an ongoing thing, and it makes a difference how much you earn at any given interest rate.
The bigger the rate, the bigger the difference. Dollar Savings Bank gives you the interest edge 2 ways. First, paying more interest than the other major banks in town on 1-year to 8-year super savings certificates, and then continuously compounding these great rates to make the annual return even more attractive. Count on Dollar Savings Bank. It's one bank that gives you your dollar's worth.
Well, the Penguins now with their first chance on the power play, Terry.
Brad McCrimmon, 2 minutes for cross-checking, checking Rick Keogh off the puck.
Penguins were 14th in the league in power play goals this year, percentage-wise, 19.8. Bruins have one of the best penalty-killing units in the league, 3rd best. Forced back into Penguin territory. Dale Talon, Randy Carlisle, the point men. Ferguson, Hughes, and McAdam up front. Lalonde and Miller, the penalty killers. Here's Talon. Skates his way to center. Game is scoreless. Talon banks it away to the right wing corner, Boston end. Left for Carlisle. He's in deep. Elbowed by Miller. Put the body into him. Loose puck behind the net. Here's Hughes. He puts it out in front, and Redmond steals. Talon again goes back into his own zone. Ferguson skates by the puck. Talon to the left of his own net. Trying to find somebody to pass to. It's Carlisle. Threw it up to the Bruins line. McAdam just offside. So the Penguins now go to a change on their power play unit with 1:08 to go in the infraction to Brad McCrimmon. Well, Keogh really had a golden chance, and he had Cheevers beaten on the play, but he just couldn't get it by him. He tried to slip it into the far side. He caught the post.
Anderson made a great play slipping it in there past the defense, and I see Keogh standing there. I'm thinking to myself, good, he's finally going to break the jinx after 24 games, and what happens? It hits the pipe.
Mark Johnson with Peter Lee and Rick Keogh up front. Miller and Bobby Lalonde remain on. Talon and Stackhouse will be the point men. Oh, we have an open pantry power play, too. For a Seiko watch, Keith Barreca of Pittsburgh. Here's Miller stealing the puck. Stackhouse trying to turn him away from the disc. Does, knocks him down. Talon behind the net. Outlet pass to Stackhouse at center ice. Shoots it away to the left wing corner. Off the boards, Redmond. Could not get to it. Miller will. Short-handed. At his own blue line, Miller banks it up to Bobby Lalonde. Stackhouse took it away from him to Peter Lee. Lee skating. Poke check by Bobby Lalonde. Talon's weaving his way through traffic. Right side to Johnson. Into the Bruins end. Pulls up right wing boards. Looking's got a man open. Peter Lee. Walk in. His shot deflected off a skate. Hit the post. 2 of them by Keogh. That one hit the post off his skate. Johnson, left wing board. 16 seconds to go in the power play. Johnson over to Talon, right wing circle. Talon, wheel and deal, has Lee in front. Can he get it to him? He goes instead to Kehoe. Shot, save, Cheever. Loose puck. Lee, shot, save, Cheever. Rebound. Johnson scored. Great balls of fire. Mark Johnson put it in. The Penguins lead 1-0. So Johnson gets the big goal, and we talked about him earlier being a money player. Power play goal for the Penguins, and they would not be denied on this one.
Well, the pass over, Johnson finally getting the rebound. Cheevers came out and made several challenges, and Johnson finally whipped one up high. Just 2 seconds remaining on the penalty to McCrimmon for cross-checking. The Pens break on top. The first goal of the playoffs, Mark Johnson in his first Stanley Cup playoff game.
And we've got a winner for a Seiko watch, Keith Barreca of Pittsburgh. There's a look at Mark on our TV side. Right in front. Boy, Kehoe really played well on that power play, along with Talon. Shot away to the Penguins end. Behind the net, it'll be Miller. Off the near side. So the Penguins take advantage. The crowd noise is so loud here, it's impossible to hear right now. Libet shoots it up the left wing boards, back to the Bruins zone. Milbury turns it over. Brad Park with the puck. Pass it over to Mike Milbury. Milbury down the right side, coming to the Penguins' end. Feed it away to the right wing corner. Carlisle backcourt, around that near side. Middleton holds it in for the Bruins, passing over. McTavish couldn't get to it. Pat Hughes lost it. Middleton hit her stick shot. And Bob Stewart of Pittsburgh shoots it up into the Bruins bench. We'll break. 1-0 to score. Pittsburgh on top, and this is the Penguins Hockey Network.
What's Giant Eagle done lately to help you beat inflation? Plenty. We're introducing 18 new generic products. Everything from fruit juice to light bulbs. And that means you've got 18 new ways to beat the higher cost of national brand items. For example, this generic baby shampoo is 63 cents for the 16-ounce bottle compared to $2.09 for Johnson's. And here's something else. The prices of every one of these new generic products have been frozen at least until June 9th at Giant Eagle.
We come back to play. We join the action live in a 2-line pass called against the Penguins. Did they give the assist on the goal, Terry?
Yeah, Peter Lee and Rick Kehoe picking up the assist. Of course, Kehoe with 2 chances there. Right before the power play, hitting the pipe, and then a shot deflected off his skate and hit the pipe where he could have had his first Stanley Cup goal. But it goes to Mark Johnson.
We talked about the play in the first period where the Penguins had 3 penalties, and the Bruins failed to capitalize, and the Penguins come right back, go 1 for 1. They had 1 of 13 chances on the regular season. McTavish behind the Penguin goal. Skating to the near side. Stackhouse rides him off the puck. Near side corner. Here's Stan Jonathan. Jonathan, left point. Milbury in the slot. Shot. McTavish blocked. And here comes Ross Lonsberry. Lonsberry up the left wing to the Bruins line. Trying to get around Brad Park. Kempster Ferguson. Here he is. Shot. Hit the post again. Penguins with 3 posts in this second period. Left wing corner. Anderson. Now Brad Park. And it's been Pittsburgh here forcing the attack against the Bruins. After the Bruins had the upper hand in the first period. Here is Milbury and Stackhouse whacking each other around. Ferguson, right wing boards, put it in front. McAdam couldn't get to it. Played away by Boston, back to center. Oh, Stackhouse crunched McTavish with a hard body check. And back comes McAdam in the Bruins end. Cuts in on goal, is shot, and Cheevers got a piece of it. Cheevers has lost his stick. Lonsberry, right point to Carlisle's, got to shoot it. Comes back off the side, boards to Jonathan, and he'll counterattack. Great action. Into the Penguins end. Left wing corner, drop pass by Middleton. Lonsberry ahead to McAdam, 1 man back. Make it 2 as Parker's back in the Bruins end. McAdam taking on the left wing side. Hit by Park. Johnson going after it. Knocked away to Jonathan. Jonathan flips it up to the Penguin blue line. High stick on the puck. It'll be whistled down. We'll break. 9:18 to go. First period. You can't hear yourself think here at the Garden. But the Penguins have the lead. 1-0. We'll be back. And this is the Penguins Hockey Network.
Hello again, everybody. This is Stan Savran inviting you to attend the next Pittsburgh Penguin home game at the Civic Arena. Good tickets are available by phoning 434-8911, or you can phone 765-3939, or you can pick your tickets up at Kaufman's Ticket Center. Get your seats by getting those tickets early for the next Penguin home game. Remember, you can use your Visa or your MasterCharge card.
Here at the Garden in Boston, the Penguins have had 3 shots hit the post here in this second period. They've scored the only goal. Played up deep to the Penguins zone. Marcotte after Mark Johnson. Millen spin it up to Kehoe. Here comes Rod Shutback. 3 men to beat, though. Down the right side. Put it by Redmond. And Redmond now force it into the near corner. He got a piece of it. Redmond behind the Boston net. Off that far side, McNabb and Shutt go after the puck. Peter McNabb of Boston coming up. Flip it away to the Penguins net, and Millen, who has just been outstanding, flawless here in this game so far. Near side McNabb, centering for Marcotte. Shot, skate save made by Millen. Oh, did he get the left leg down and make the skate save on Marcotte. Now Redmond up high. Carlisle putting that stick way up in the air. Touched by the Bruins. It's a live puck. Redmond left side. Look out. A shot. Just the net. Doak on the right point. Feed it back in behind the net to Marcotte. 1-0 Pittsburgh lead. Behind the net, Stewart shoots it up ice. Will it be on goal? Yes. Cheevers will stop it. Penguins trying to get a line change here quickly. Here comes Doak, rushing quickly back up ice. Into the Penguins, into McNair. Drop pass to O'Reilly. O'Reilly looking for somewhere to go. Hit by Shepard. Good checking. Levitt gets it out of his own zone. Penguins have played some inspired hockey here tonight and have been led by the goaltending of Greg Millen. Far side, McCrimmon off the boards, into the corner. Played up over the glass, into the crowd. We will break. The score, Pittsburgh 1, Boston nothing. This is the Penguins Hockey Network.
Somerset County, where bituminous coal is mined, processed, loaded, and shipped. It takes a ton of coal to make a ton of steel. Here in Latrobe is the country's first continuous inline rolling mill, where 1,000-pound billets are rolled to just 3/16 of an inch. From coal to coke to steel. It's Kendall Lubricants, supplied by Wendon Oil Company of Greensburg, that keep this heavy equipment running. Now that's big-time business in a small, friendly town.
First score from out of town. Montreal has taken a 2-0 lead over Hartford in the second period at Montreal. Here's Secord, a shot. Where is it? Right in front. A quick shot. Cashman on the save made by Miller. Now the Bruins are going to start shaking their heads now. Millen, Penguin goaltender, stopping Cashman from dead on right in front. Now Millen has been going through some tough times up and down this year. But when he is hot, and he is awfully tough to beat.
Another look, the shot comes in. Cashman with it, quick, with a screen in front. And Greg Millen comes up with another big save.
I'm telling you, those shots the Bruins are taking from around that net have goal written all over him. He is making some tremendous saves. And with every part of the body, too. Legs, arms, skates. Miller, Secord, Cashman, face-off, Penguins in. Bob Stewart defensively. Skate stop behind his own net. Outlet pass to Shepard. Right wing to Pat Hughes. Looking for Levitt. Sends it through to the left wing corner. Boston zone. McCrimmon and Levitt go in. Cashman comes over to help out. Off Shepard's stick and back to Bob Miller. Miller at center red. Rolls it up into the left wing corner. Pittsburgh in. Comes to Miller. Shot. I think Miller got a piece of that with his stick. McCrimmon almost lost it. It goes back behind the Pittsburgh net. Carlisle around. Passed it back to center red. McCrimmon looking. Shoots it away to the left wing corner. Millen again banks it up the glass. Shepard lost it. Miller's got it. A shot. Save Millen. He gets himself back up. It's behind the goal. Stewart took Cashman down on the ice. And they'll freeze it. You know, Boston's that type of team, and you can expect them to go here at home. There's Bob Miller really putting the pressure on. You know what? Physically, Terry, the game has not been that tough, and really the Bruins right now can't afford to be too tough because they're down by a goal.
Well, it's starting to get frustrating for the Bruins. They've played almost 35 minutes of the game and have not come up with a goal here at home. And Greg Millen has just been tremendous, making all the big saves. Started with the very first shot of the game when Rick Middleton had him beat up high, but Millen snatched the glove out and pulled it away.
Ferguson against McTavish. And you got to watch a guy like Ferguson here in a situation like this. He can come through big for you. Milbury left point. Fires it over, intercepted by Lonsberry. Looking for McAdam. Here he comes. Two-line pass. Two-line pass called against the Penguins. McAdam with that blazing speed, almost sneaking behind the Bruins defense. But it'll be brought back. The only goal of the game by Mark Johnson. His first in the playoffs from Kehoe and Lee at 8:25 of this second period, a power play goal. McTavish won the faceoff, got it back to Brad Park. Shoots it away to the Penguin zone. Anderson defensively. Behind his own net, out to Stackhouse, looking. Got a man open, Ferguson. Kicks him with the skates. Looks the left wing, put it through to Lonsberry. Into the Bruins in. Hook from behind, but keeps on coming. Ian Park going to the board. From that corner, Ferguson in there, and they get a quick whistle. Face off Boston territory. That's what Lonsberry loves to do, is work those corners. Well, the Penguins have two key center icemen out with Kindrachuk and Malone out. Malone for the year. But certainly, with Mark Johnson in there, it really fills a big void the Penguins had.
You know, Mike, if we can go back just, well, when we have a chance, I want to say one of the key things was the non-call against Ron Stackhouse. It could have been while the Pens had that power play.
Here's Keogh, put it in front of the net. Brad Park, veteran defenseman, stops it there. Lead it out to Milbury. He's got some room. Left wing pass to Jonathan, too far. Carlisle taken against the boards by Milbury. Into the left wing corner, they'll dig for it. Now the face-off will be in Penguin territory.
Another out-of-town score. The Buffalo Sabres break on top of Vancouver, 1-0. And the Islanders pick up a pair against the LA Kings in the second period.
And here comes Ferguson right back on for the Penguins. Lonsberry and McAdam against the McTavish unit. McTavish with Middleton and Jonathan. 1-0 Pittsburgh lead. Game 3 of the series will be Saturday night at the Civic Arena. We hope to see you there in person. Stackhouse from behind his own net. Lead it over to Russ Anderson. Tried to pass it up, does to center. McAdam, high stick on the puck. It's called.
Of course, our next game will be Thursday night. A simulcast here on Channel 53 and the Penguin Radio Network. Game time, 7:30. The Pens and the Bruins.
Led by our flagship station, WWSW. And let's pause 5 seconds to let our stations identify themselves. This is the Penguins Hockey Network.
WPGH-TV, Pittsburgh.
Mike Lang along with Terry Schiffauer here in Boston, right around the Penguin net. Look out. Loose puck goes to the corner. Jonathan forces it behind the goal to Middleton. Puts it out in front. Swept to the corner to Middleton. He's tough here. Off the stick of Greg Millen. The centering pass. Good play by Greg again. McAdam trying to get it out. Can't do it. Penguins being pressured right now. Middleton and Anderson. Ferguson over. He's turned around by Middleton. In the corner, Anderson. Now Middleton lost his stick. He goes down. McAdam missed a check on Milbury. Ferguson takes a piece of him. Action tough. Anderson plays it over to McAdam. Lonsberry's ahead. 2-on-2. Here comes McAdam. Takes off against Jonathan around him. But good play. Walks in his shot. He scores. Oh, look out, Loretta. Gary McAdam scores against Cheevers. And the Penguins take a 2-0 lead.
Sheer speed. Gary McAdam scoring the goal. His 6th in Stanley Cup playoff action. Takes the puck, comes out of his own end, and just walks right around the Boston defenseman. Comes in, walks around Stan Jonathan. The shot, and it hit Jerry Cheevers on the glove hand, on the stick hand, and bounces in behind him. And the Pens on top, 2-0 in the second period. McAdam with his first goal of the playoffs at 14:47.
Well, we mentioned the Penguins. Well, here goes Keogh now, back to center ice. O'Reilly spin it into the Boston end. Penguins with a 2-0 lead. They've scored twice in the second period, and they dump it away to the Boston end again. They've had 3 shots that have hit the post. They've scored twice. And they've gotten some just super goaltending on the Greg Millen so far. Long way to go. Keogh around the net. Put it in front. There's a man. Shot a shot in the stick save made by Cheever. Rod Shutt almost got goal number 3. Johnson a turning blast miss. Keogh in the near corner. Ramblin' Rick centers off Shutt stick. Johnson keeps it alive. Good play. But McNabb comes up with the puck. Now McNabb shoots it up to center ice, and Rod Shutt goes after it. Penguins playing with confidence right now. They drill it back to the right wing corner. Boston in. Off the boards. Keogh in front of shot. Stopped by Cheevers. Where is it? Redmond covers up. Now the Penguins pressing the attack. The score, Pittsburgh 2, Boston 0. We'll break, and this is the Penguins Hockey Network.
Something very special, the Big Wink. You know, Winkies pioneered the Big Wink type sandwich in this area. Winkies was first to have 2 U.S. government-inspected 100% all-beef patties and a toasted triple-decker sesame seed bun. They added some cheese and pickle, created some special Winkies dressing, and topped it off with shredded lettuce. The Big Wink, the first and still the best.
Winkies makes you happy to be hungry. Winkies has a little bit more.
Another look at Gary McAdam's goal that gave the Pens a 2-0 lead. McAdam walks around Stan Jonathan, cuts the shot loose, catches Cheevers on the glove side, and bounces in off the waffle board. The Pens on front 2-0.
Anderson, the assist. He had a beautiful pass to Keogh where he missed a goal. Anderson is playing some kind of game tonight for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Miller back for the Bruins. They trail 2-0. Anderson takes a piece of Miller, knocks him down. Penalty coming up. A holding call. I'd want to see the play back over if we can. Holding's the call.
Interference, I think he did. Oh, it did hold.
fourth penalty of the night against the Penguins. And if we can, maybe we'll take another look at it if it's possible. 2-0 lead for the Penguins. The Bruins are going to get another crack at the power play. You know, the Penguins' penalty killing has been outstanding so far.
Russ Anderson picks up Pittsburgh's fourth penalty.
Now Millen again will be called upon by the Penguins to try and keep the Bruins off the board. Mark Johnson and Gary McAdams scoring goals for the Penguins here in this second period.
Edmonton and Philadelphia 2-2 in the second period. Take a look at it. Russ Anderson. Miller coming across. Anderson just pushes him a little bit off. A little tough to call holding on that. But I guess Bob Myers figured he owed the Bruins one.
So Anderson goes to the box. Second penalty of the night for him. McNabb on for the Bruins with Terry O'Reilly and Rick Middleton. Ray Bourque and Brad Park, the two penalty killers. If the Penguins can get through this, what a lift it would be again. Tough job here, especially on the road, but they lead 2-0. Mark Johnson, Gary McAdams scoring. Right point, Brad Park, Penguins in to O'Reilly. Shepard and Lonsbury, the penalty killer. Slanted across to Middleton, in front, shot. McNabb stopped by Miller. How he stopped that one, I'll never know. Clear to the right point. Park has it. I don't know how he stopped that shot by McNabb. O'Reilly left side to Bourque. Shot, stopped in front. Carlisle has it. Randy skates back and shoots it away back into the Bruins end. I don't know how he stopped the shot by McNabb, Terry. Unbelievable. Right behind the Boston goal. Here's Park now to Ray Bourque. 1:30 to go in the penalty. Now Anderson. Middleton up the left wing board. Bouncing up the glass around to the right wing corner. Battle for it. Shepard again. Taking O'Reilly against the wood, and they'll freeze it. All right. We're going to take a break. The score, Pittsburgh 2, Boston nothing. This is the Penguins Hockey Network.
This bud's for everyone who lives the life of the sea.
This bud's for you, for all you do. The king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do, this bud's for you.
In the Penguins in. Brad Park right side with 1:10 to go in the penalty. Fakes a shot. Goes to Bourque. Open. Shot deflected by Ferguson. Ferguson clears. Takes the heat out of a hot kitchen. Penguin defensemen have given Millen a lot of room to see that puck here tonight. They played well. Penguins with a 2-0 lead. Brad Park rambling out of his own zone. Left side to McNabb, who was denied by Millen on a great save just moments ago. McNabb around to the right point to Brad Park. They want him to set it up. Park, checked by Shepard. O'Reilly lost it to Shepard. And back to center ice it goes. 37 seconds to go in the penalty. Bourque to the Penguin line. Couldn't get in. And the crowd unhappy with the Bruins power play. But give the Penguins some credit. They're killing these penalties very well. Here's O'Reilly right side. Shot deflected by Carlisle. And again back to center ice. 20 seconds to go. Shepard's all over Park. Passes up to Miller. Back to Park off his skate. Miller goes back into the Bruins end. The Penguins stalk him and keep the pressure on. Up to Cashman. 8 seconds to go. Cashman to the Penguin blue line. Cuts around one man. Johnson right there for the Penguins, though. Around the left wing to Rod Shutt, and he shoots it up ice. It's going to be an icing call, I believe. No, they're going to wave it off. Anderson's on. With 2:08 to go in the period. Here's Johnson with the intercepting a pass. Took a shot. He didn't get all of it. Went wide of the net. Secord around right side to Dick Redmond. Redmond's play comes to center, and Anderson stops it again. Anderson making the play at center ice. Now Cashman back for the Bruins. Right behind the Penguin net. Stewart around the left wing. Goes by everybody. There'll be no icing to touch the Bruin player on the way up with 1:40 to go in the period. Redmond stopping behind Sievers just for a cup of coffee, and out he goes to Miller. Wraps it back into the Pittsburgh end. Millen, very active again. Gets that puck around to the near side by Milbury off the boards. Play to the near corner. Secord and Kehoe muscle one another, and they'll get a face-off in the Pittsburgh end. Out-of-town scores, Terry?
We said Edmonton and Philadelphia 2-2 in the second period. Montreal leading Hartford 2-0 in the second. The Islanders 2-0 over L.A. also in the second. And Buffalo on top of Vancouver 1-0 in the second. And Atlanta and the Rangers were an 8:30 start. Toronto at Minnesota also 8:30.
You see the intense look of Drake Millen, who really has his concentration tonight, is in this game. Shepard against Miller. Important for the Penguins not to give a goal up here now in the late seconds of period number 2. Levitt shoots it up out back to center. Here comes Shepard after it. Milbury plays it away from him, but it's Shepard going after the puck. Can't get to it. Loose at center. Cashman up the right side. Offside play against the Boston Bruins. We go down now to a minute 7 seconds. Well, you can bet your life if the Penguins come out of this with a 2-0 lead, Boston's going to throw everything in the kitchen sink in the final period. But it's better to be up by 2 than 1 going in.
Well, of course, Game 2 here on Thursday night. Game 3 at the Civic Arena Saturday night at 8 p.m. And if a 4th game necessary, Sunday at the Civic Arena also at 8 p.m.
Russ Anderson passing to Ron Stackhouse from that draw. Flip it up back to the Bruins end. It'll be far enough rising. No, it's not. Redmond around. Far side to Cashman. Levitt trying to take it away. Cannot do it. Cashman put it behind the goal to Redmond. And Hughes is on him. Redmond now to Bob Miller with 48 seconds to go. Miller checked by Shepard. And from the near point, Miller now works it back to center. Shepard has played a strong first 2 periods. Dumped away to the right wing corner of the Penguins end. Cashman right, slip it against the wood. Anderson right there again for the Penguins. Out to Shepard. And he shoots it up softly back to the Bruins zone. Mike Milbury cruising behind his own net. Hughes is putting the check on him. Forced around the horn to McCrimmon. Lead pass to center, and Randy Carlyle coming up with it. Carlyle right back to center. Milbury of the Bruins. Lost it to Shepard, and there he is again. Now Cashman coming back to the Penguin zone. 8 seconds to go in the period. Penguins dig for it. Along the near side, forced back to center. The Penguins are going to come out of this with a 2-0 lead. 2 seconds to go in the period. And that horn sounds, and the Penguins have a big second period here in Boston. And let's check the goal scoring in the second period, Terry.
Well, Mark Johnson, with 2 seconds left on a penalty to Brad McCrimmon, scored his first Stanley Cup playoff goal. Peter Lee and Rick Kehoe assisting at 8:25. Then Gary McAdam with a coast-to-coast rush, scoring his first, beating Cheevers, with Russ Anderson assisting at 14:47.
All right, at the end of 2, the shots were 10 apiece in the second period. The end of 2, Pittsburgh 2 and Boston nothing, and this is the Penguins Hockey Network.
Thank you very much.
Hi, who's that?
Dollar Bank's pay-by-phone.
Oh, I wanted to pay the bills this time.
But I like doing it now, because with pay-by-phone, bill paying's no longer a chore, and I like getting our new balance after each call.
Talk about time. What about the money? We earn 5.5% interest right up to the time we pay our bills.
And that buys lots of goodies.
Dollar Bank's pay-by-phone. It's about time and money. Once you've tried it.
You'll never want to pay bills any other way.
You're the Pepsi generation, the spirit of today. And with every taste of life that's new, well, that Pepsi spirit shines right through. Catch that Pepsi spirit. Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in. Catch that Pepsi spirit. Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in.
The Stan Severin Show is brought to you by American Motors. Test drive the American Eagle, the only family compact automobile with automatic 4-wheel drive at your local AMC Jeep dealer. American Motors, built for today, built to last for tomorrow. And now, here's Stan.
Well, if Mike Lang will forgive me for plagiarizing, backup floor crew, great balls of fire. What a period of hockey. Penguins on top of the Boston Bruins 2-0. In my mind, without a doubt, this is the best hockey game they've played since that 1-1 tie with Philadelphia way back when the Flyers tied the unbeaten streak at 28. You saw that game right here on Channel 53, and the Flyers getting that late goal to tie it. But this is the Pens' best game, without a question of a doubt in my mind, that they've played since that night in Philadelphia. One of the key things, obviously, you don't want to give up the goal early in the third period. At least get to that 8-9 minute mark, because then you've got some time to work with. But if Boston gets one early, they get turned down with their fans, and you heard the boos toward the end of the second period. Frustration written not only all over the fans' face in Boston, but also on the Bruins. Greg Millen has been absolutely spectacular. You talk about hot goaltending in the playoffs. The Penguins certainly have gotten it tonight. Mike Lang mentioned the good job by the defenseman. I'd like to point out also, however, that the Penguin wingers are checking and they're keeping the Boston Bruins from breaking out on the 3-on-1s and the 2-on-1s and the 3-on-2s. That gives your defenseman a chance, and then the defensemen have done the job keeping the Bruins away from the net. That's where they like to buzz around, and that's where they beat you. So Hats off and kudos to everybody on the Penguins tonight. Everyone playing a good, solid hockey game. A couple of things I want to mention before we get into our feature, that being that the Penguin Booster Club tells me that they are going to move the time of their meeting on Thursday. Normally they meet around 8 o'clock, but they're going to move up that time to 7:15, obviously because the Penguins play the Bruins Thursday night at 7:30 right here on Channel 53. So those of you who were planning on attending the Penguin Booster Club meeting, it'll be at 7:15 this coming Thursday night. Also, I want to say hello out there to Greg Malone, the Penguins, in my mind, best all-around player. He's in the hospital tonight. Nothing serious, just getting that cast removed after the knee operation. Greg is going to be our guest on Thursday night on the intermission show. So, Greg, you've got to be enjoying this one tonight because they're playing a superb hockey game. We'll have first and second period highlights for you a little bit later on in our intermission show. First of all, let's take a look at who did what this year in the National Hockey League individual, goal scoring, overall scoring, goaltenders, and the odds on winning the Stanley Cup. This year, goal scoring, Charlie Simmer, three-way tie with Blaine Stoughton and Danny Gare. Charlie Simmer only played in 64 hockey games this year, missed 16 with an injury, so you might concede the championship to him, probably would have scored over 60. Blaine Stoughton of the Hartford Whalers, former Penguin, and Danny Gare, a very interesting case. He had a couple of down years and was not getting along well in Buffalo, but poof, Scotty Bowman comes to Buffalo, 56 goals tied for the league lead. Marcel Dion, the eventual scoring champion, with 53. Wayne Gretzky, 51, as did Mike Bossy after a very slow start. The Islanders sharpshooter coming up with 51. And line mates Pierre LaRouche and Guy Lafleur getting 50, the sixth consecutive year that Guy Lafleur has scored 50 goals or more. And, of course, this is the first 50-goal year for Pierre LaRouche since he left Pittsburgh. Ironically, we have a total of 8 players scoring 50 or more goals, which is an unusually high total. Now, let's take a look at the overall scoring championship. As we had in the goal-scoring championship, again a tie, Marcel Dion of the Los Angeles Kings, Wayne Gretzky, the just super 19-year-old of the Edmonton Oilers, 137 points. Now, the scoring championship officially goes to Marcel Dion because he scored more goals, 53 to 51. Not quite sure I agree with that tie-breaking procedure. It's kind of like breaking the batting championship because one guy had more doubles. Anyway, Guy Lafleur, who missed 6 games with an injury, had 125. Gilbert Perreault, a great season for him. Buffalo Sabres 106, and Mike Rogers of the Hartford Whalers with 105 points. The goaltenders, and we'll get to them and show you who the top goaltenders in the league were this year, and also the odds on winning the Stanley Cup when we return from this message.
You're about to see an incredible demonstration of the new American Eagle. Watch as we blow not just one, but both front tires of the Eagle at 55 miles per hour on a curve. Watch as Eagle's automatic 4-wheel drive directs power for immediate traction. Introducing the only family compact with automatic 4-wheel drive. The Eagle has landed on all fours at American Motors.
All right, we talk about goaltending in the playoffs, the key ingredient perhaps to advancing in the Stanley Cup playoffs and getting to the semifinals and finals. Let's take a look at which were the best goaltenders in the National Hockey League this year. Buffalo, as I mentioned, the best defensive team in the NHL this year, only 201 goals. Donnie Edwards, only half of that great tandem up in Buffalo. Bob Sauvé, of course, the other half. But Donnie Edwards won the regular season championship, 2.57 goals per game. Talk about rookies of the year. How about Pete Peters? There are some good choices, but Pete Peters, the rookie goaltender who went months without losing a game, 2.73 for the rookie for the Philadelphia Flyers. Jerry Cheevers, who has been beaten twice tonight by the Penguins and really hasn't been tested that often, 2.81. Tony Esposito, who many regard as the best in the National Hockey League, 2.97. And Espo, the only chance really the Blackhawks have because they do not score. They're the lowest scoring goal team in the playoffs. And Chico Resch of the New York Islanders, a familiar name, 3.04 goals allowed per game on the year. Now, which team is going to win the Stanley Cup? Montreal, Buffalo, Philadelphia? Well, if you want to get something down with the boys in Vegas or Reno or whatever, these are the odds on winning the Stanley Cup, and who would deny the Montreal Canadiens the favorite? Philadelphia and Buffalo, co-favorites or second-place favorites, 5-2 odds. Montreal, despite the fact they finished third in the point standings, they are 9-5, and they're going for their 5th straight, so how can you possibly deny them? And in addition, they come into the playoffs with a 21-game unbeaten streak. Boston and the New York Islanders, 9-2. Islanders, surprisingly, a rather low choice. Minnesota and Chicago at 8-1 odds. Now going down the rest of the teams, the Rangers also 8-1. Atlanta, whom the Rangers play, 10-1. St. Louis 15-1. Toronto 20-1. L.A., even though they finished behind them in the point standings, 15-1. The Penguins 25-1. Hartford 40-1. And the long shots, Vancouver and Edmonton at 60-1. You could make some money there, but I wouldn't bet the mortgage on that. Scores to pass along to you tonight. These are all second period scores. Montreal leads Hartford 2-0. Buffalo over Vancouver 1-0. The Islanders on top of the Kings 2-0. And the Flyers and Edmonton surprisingly tied 2-2 in the second period. We'll be back to take a look at highlights in just a moment.
Why does only American Motors have a full 5-year, no-rust-through warranty?
Because in all its 1980 cars, AMC starts with galvanized steel in critical areas. Then add Z-Bart factory rust protection as the cars are being built at no extra cost. AMC with Z-Bart factory rust protection, rust-resistant galvanized steel, and the only 5-year no-rust-through warranty.
American Motors, built for today, built to last for tomorrow.
Let's go to highlights. The first period, pretty much the Greg Millen show. What a spectacular performance he turned on in the first period. Right from the point, Millen makes a great save on Rick Middleton. Glove save. Watch it again in the slow motion. From the draw, Bruins win it. Back to Middleton. Tickets it for the high corner. Middleton, a 40-goal scorer. Millen makes the save. Russ Anderson called on an interference penalty here on Bob Miller, and that sets up a very important flurry of action. The Penguins hold their ground here, where Boston really could have blown them out. Actually, one of the great scoring chances. This is the Penguins 2-on-1 shorthanded. Carlisle there, looking to hit Ferguson. There he is. But a great play by Ray Bourque, who is regarded as perhaps the next Bobby Orr. Now the Bruins come back on their power play. Greg Millen again making numerous saves on the power play. Absolutely spectacular goaltending. Look at the Penguins clearing out in front of the net, knocking people down. That's what you must do against the Bruins. Battle, McNabb behind. Here's Cashman, the old man. He's got to be 110. Penguins again on a shorthanded break. Dale Talon, George Ferguson, but once again it misfires. Talon gets the puck, dribbles off his stick, can't get the shot off on Cheevers. Into the second period, Stan Jonathan, 2-on-1 with McTavish. Again, it is Greg Millen. Here we go in the second period now. Millen coming up big. Point-blank save on Stan Jonathan. Tries to go between his legs. Greg Millen there to make the stop. Rick Keogh has been in a terrible playoff goal-scoring slump. The Penguins' leading goal-getter with 30. Here he comes again. A great pass from Anderson. Look at this. He's got Cheevers out to lunch. Watch it. Hits the post. A penalty there. You saw McCrimmon knock him down. This leads to the Penguins' first goal. Here we go. Rick Keogh, very instrumental on this play. He gets a couple shots. One of them hits the post. Here's something from the point. Peter Lee. Puck bounds away. It's Mark Johnson who eventually scores the goal, going after it, looking for Keogh. Penguins setting up their power play very nicely here. Into the middle. Now off to the right wing. Bruins in the box. Shot on goal. Save Cheevers. Puck rolling loose in front of the net. There's Johnson, just like he did in the Olympics. Goal, Penguins. And Mark Johnson, obviously, with his first playoff goal. Penguins take a 1-0 lead. Now watch Bob Stewart here. Bang! Look at him knock down Wayne Cashman. That's what I'm talking about. That's why I showed you that on the highlight. Look at Stewart doing the job. Here comes the Penguins' second goal. Great pass from Russ Anderson. McAdam, one of the fastest skaters in the NHL. He comes in. He beats Cheevers on the far side. Let's watch it again. Now the pass to McAdam from Anderson. He beats him on the far side. Gary McAdam with the goal, his 6th playoff goal. And watch Ross Lonsberry. He hugs him. You betcha, Ross. You do one for us. All right, Penguins on top, 2-0. 20 minutes of hockey to go. The Penguins on top. We'll see you again Thursday night.
Test drive the American Eagle, the only family compact automobile with automatic 4-wheel drive at your local AMC Jeep dealer. American Motors, built for today, built to last for tomorrow. And now back to Mike Lang at ringside.
Back at the Garden in Boston at the end of 2 periods, the Pittsburgh Penguins leading the Boston Bruins in this best-of-5 opener, Stanley Cup competition preliminary round. And we mentioned at the outset that sports doesn't always go quite the way you think it might. The Penguins leading Boston 2-0. Everybody really had basically written them off for a three-game straight sweep by the Boston Bruins, but it hasn't happened, and the Penguins have shown some great fortitude tonight, gotten some great penalty killing, super goaltending by Greg Miller.
Well, through 2 periods, it's been great, but the key thing is a win here in Boston gives the home ice advantage now back to Pittsburgh. You look for a split coming in here, then you come back and play Saturday and Sunday in Pittsburgh.
Well, the Penguins trying to do it in the third period, and they lead Boston 2-0. We'll have the third period in just a moment.
Hey, I won $100.
I won a chicken sandwich.
I'll never win.
Play the Burger King Make It Special game and win up to $10,000. Get 3 stamps every time you come in, complete any picture on the game card, and win.
I won a Whopper.
I won $10. Instant winners, too.
I won a Coke.
Complete any picture and win.
You won.
This is a TV 53 News Watch update with Mavis Logan.
Brought to you by Bell, the knowledge business.
Good evening. In news tonight, the National Weather Service has issued a tornado watch for western Pennsylvania until late evening, about 11 o'clock. That includes all of the counties in western Pennsylvania. Even if there is no tornado, strong winds and thunderstorms are expected. Caution in driving is suggested. State Senate Democrats are being asked to reject the nomination of Dr. Sanford Edberg to be the new Allegheny County coroner. Governor Dick Thornburg appointed Dr. Edberg, a Republican, yesterday to the post, vacated in January by Dr. Cyril Wecht when he became county commissioner. Dr. Wecht is asking the Senate Democrats to turn thumbs down on Edberg. And Senator Ted Kennedy talked to steel workers at the Cyclops plant in Bridgeville today. We'll have details of this and other news at 10:50 on Newswatch.
Over a decade ago, Bell System Science transformed memory into tiny magnetic bubbles. Now we've quadrupled their capacity, expanding potential business applications. We can discuss with corporations the future of information management using the technology of advanced communications. We are insight, change, we are the future, and we can put it to work for your business.
This has been a TV 53 News Watch update with Mavis Logan.
Played well through 40 minutes, but that fella certainly has kept the Penguins in the lead. He's got a goose egg on the board for the Bruins. And let's check some of the scores around this National Hockey League and playoff competition.
Buffalo
Terry?
leading Vancouver 1-0 on a goal by Derek Smith. Islanders 2-0 over L.A. Brian Trottier and Wayne Merrick. Philadelphia 2-2 with Edmonton. Holmgren and Leach, Lumley and Gretzky.
And here we go, third and final period. Maybe not the final period. We could go to overtime here, so don't forget that. Sudden death overtime. Penguins force into center. Shepard dump it up to the Bruins line. Brad Park corrals it. The only time the ties would not be in existence in the National Hockey League is right now, playoff time. We'll have a conclusion to this one no matter what. Park forced behind the Bruins net. But the Penguins with a 2-0 lead. They've got to keep the pressure on the Bruins. They can't back into a shell. And the Bruins, you can bet your life, are going to come at Pittsburgh with everything they have. And the Penguins right now in the first 30 seconds of this period doing a good job at checking the Bruins as they have for the better part of the night. Milbury to the left of his own net. Pass it out the left side to Bobby Lalonde. Lalonde rolls it up into the Penguin zone, and McNabb hustles after the puck for the Bruins, looking for O'Reilly. And Hughes got a piece of him, kicked out in front of the net. Millen stops the puck right around the goal. Very cool customer Millen there. And he held on to the puck. There'll be a face-off in Penguin territory.
Well, as we mentioned, Millen has extended his area of work a little bit tonight, reaching out there and tying the puck up a lot against the side, and more importantly, breaking up some key passes that come from behind the cage by the Bruins.
You know, I think if you watch Gary Cheevers play, and he is so adept at playing here in the Garden, that's the way he plays the game. And really, many a goaltenders can learn from that experience. With the rink a little bit boxed in compared to most, you've got to be aggressive, I think, in this building.
And Cheevers even more so. He set a new penalty record this year, 62 minutes by a goaltender.
Bork left point. Miller's got the puck. He shot it, and it deflected. Millen steers far side. McAdam of Pittsburgh, who has one of the 2 goals. Gary Mack looking out to Ferguson. Here he comes. Room to work with. Ferguson to the Bruins line. Now he's shut down. Carlisle looking for Lonsberry. Bang it over to the left wing corner to Lonsberry. Bork also. Now we've got Ferguson and Miller. Oh, a swing by Miller, and here they go. Ferguson and Miller. They're going to go to it, and Ferguson now takes Miller down. Right on top of him, a right hand, and down goes Bobby Miller. Now, Ferguson's not a guy you want to mess with too much. Not too many fellas do in the National Hockey League, and when he makes his presence known, you're going to know it. And he took Miller down with just one swing. So George Ferguson and Bobby Miller are pried apart. Will break. 18:47 to go, third period. 2-0 Pittsburgh. This is the Penguins Hockey Network.
This bud's for everyone who helps put food on the table.
This bud's for you, for all you do. The king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do, this bud's for you.
Well, George Ferguson and Bob Miller each get 2 minutes for slashing and 2 for roughing. There, Ferguson and Miller collide. Miller pulls Ferguson down. Now they'll get up and off camera. They do a little pushing and slashing. So they'll each pick up double minors at 1:13 of the third period.
So both clubs at this point will be shorthanded a man, but they're at equal strength. 4 aside. Craig McTavish, Al Secord up front. And for the Bruins defensively, McCrimmon and Bork. And they come up to the center ice area. Penguins have Johnson and Keogh on the front line. Anderson, Stackhouse on the blue line. Far side, Penguin zone. Secord trying to take it free. Does to Bork. Right side, McCrimmon's wide open. Look out here. Shot. Sticked away by Millen. Hit the back of the net. Whistle blows. They want a face-off. In the Penguin zone. Stackhouse fell on top of the net. And the face-off will be in the right wing circle of the Penguin zone. So coincidental minors, double minors.
Well, a shot by McCrimmon will go. It'll hit the back of the net, come back. And then Al Secord comes in and tries to give Greg Millen just a little bit of a push. And that's when Russ Anderson and Ron Stackhouse arrived on the scene to tie the play up.
The Bruins, now Shepard and Libet step on. Mark Johnson gave the Penguins a 1-0 lead at 8:25 of the second period. McAdam at 14:47 made it 2-0. McCrimmon again, shot, deflected. Comes to Bork, slap shot, knocked Millen over, rebound. Secord can't put it in, loose puck in front. Secord goes after it, left wing corner. Bruins on the attack. Bork, shot, stick save Millen, rebound. Secord shot it wide. McTavish behind the net to Secord. You can expect the Bruins to be tough. Shepard out to Libet, here he comes, 2-on-2. Libet on the right side, Bork the beat. Drop it over to the left wing side, McCrimmon back. McCrimmon banks it up to Craig McTavish. 3 rookies on for the Bruins here. McTavish, Penguin zone. Poke checked nicely by Bob Stewart. Right off his play. 16:53 to go in the final of the third period. Not the final. We remind you we could go to sudden death overtime. Carlisle right side to the Bruins end. Shoot it towards the net. Cheevers stops that. McCrimmon takes over behind the Boston goal. Cheevers in the net for the Boston Bruins. Out it goes to Bork. Skating to the Penguin line. Fell down. Middleton forced back to center. 2:44 to go in the minor penalties. Middleton's pass picked off by Nick Libet, looking for the puck. Libet out to Carlisle. Johnson's open with him. Give it to Johnson right side into the Bruins in, and Cheevers comes out to challenge him and knock it away. Carlisle, man open Stewart. Can't handle the pass. It comes off his stick. Goes after it. Put it behind the net. Milbury took a piece of Bob Stewart. John Rattel of the Bruins. Not played all that much tonight. Comes to Milbury. Left side to Middleton. Penguin zone. Down the slot. Trying to get the shot off. It rolls through to the right wing corner. Rattel. They're 4 against 4. Johnson in the Penguin zone. Trying to play it by Redmond. Can't not get it out. Redmond, now Johnson got it back, and here he comes 2-on-1 with Kehoe. Big chance here. Kehoe and Johnson. Kehoe swinging wide. Looking. Puts it in front. Johnson scores! Oh, look out, Loretta. Great balls of fire. The Penguins lead 3-0. Oh, Kehoe with a dazzling move. Johnson had an open net, and he dumped it in. Woo!
Rookie Mark Johnson playing in his first Stanley Cup game. Already with a goal. They break out 2-1. Johnson gives it to Kehoe. Johnson pulls up just long enough for Kehoe to get onside. Kehoe goes way wide. Cheevers out, and he's out to lunch. Johnson taps it in. It's 2-3-0 with 2 goals by Mark Johnson.
Time of the goal at 3:10. Harry Sinden looks concerned for the Bruins as well. He should. Penguins lead 3-0 here. A pair by Mark Johnson. And we told you at the top of the telecast, simulcast, that we thought Johnson would be a big key, and he has responded. Give Kehoe some great credit there, though. Anderson knocks it down. High stick. And they'll have a face-off outside of the Pittsburgh line. Again, now here's the announcement of the goal.
Bob Stewart starts the play, gives it to Johnson, back to Kehoe. Kehoe way wide on the play. The defenseman out there with him. A great centering pass. Johnson can't ask for anything more.
Back to live action. Here's Stackhouse up to Lonsberry. Back with McAdam. Lonsberry right side in front of McAdam. He can't get it through to it. McAdam has the puck, though. Drop it up in the right wing corner. And O'Reilly of Boston. O'Reilly sends it out the left wing to Mac Milbury. Milbury to center red. Fires it away to the right wing corner. Penguins in. A Millen again. Spins it around to the far side of the Pittsburgh zone. Stackhouse trying to clear. Up to McAdam. The Penguins have another break here. Here's Lonsberry. Can he get it through to him? Yes. It's Lonsberry getting that puck, but he couldn't bring it with him. Bruins counterattack. O'Reilly right side. Penguins in. Can't get by Russ Anderson. Loose at center. Lonsberry. Down the left side. 2 men to beat. Slap shot. Way wide. Right point. Carlisle. Good play to keep it in. Randy now forced it over to the left wing corner. Penguins in a line change. 15:45 to go. The goal by Johnson came when the Penguins were shorthanded. A man as well for the Bruins. Park shoots it up into the Pittsburgh end. Millen again handles that puck far side. O'Reilly. O'Reilly play it behind the net. Goes after his own pass. O'Reilly of Boston. Look out here. Centers it. Came off Shepard's stick to Bork. In tight shot. Stick save Millen. Park puts it behind the net. O'Reilly again taken to the ice by Stewart. Loose puck in front. Penalty. Carlisle coming up. Park a shot. Turning. Stopped by Pittsburgh. Penalty Pittsburgh. Will break. Penguins are going to be 2 men short. 3-0 Penguins. This is the Penguins Hockey Network.
Sail on out to Winky's and catch a whale of a deal. 40 cents off on Winky's Whale's Tail Fish Dinner. 2 crisp and tender natural fillets of North Atlantic cod, golden brown French fries, creamy coleslaw, and a buttermilk roll. Regularly $2.29, now only $1.89. So sail on out to Winky's, where you'll catch more of what you're hungry for.
Winkies makes you happy to be hungry. Winkies has a little bit more.
For the 5th time in this hockey game, the Penguins will be shorthanded. Randy Carlisle goes off for hooking at 4:47. Take a look at it. Carlisle, number 25 in the black. Bobby Lalonde trying to go. And pretty questionable call right in front of Bob Myers. Seen better dives at swimming pools.
Face-off will be in the Pittsburgh end. 26 seconds to go in the minor penalties to Ferguson and Miller. They had double minors apiece, which means that it will help the Penguins a little bit when they get on the ice. A 4-against-3 advantage here gives the Bruins a little bit more room to work with. They're down 3-0. Now, this Bruins club can score goals, so don't go away. In the regular season, they had 310 of them. But the Penguins have dented them for 3. Face-off, Penguins in. Power play Boston. 5th chance. Shepard couldn't get it. Park, right side. Brad Park looking. Pass across to Ray Bork. Back to Park. No room to shoot. Back to Bork. Can he shoot the puck? No, he can't. Back to Park. Let it go. Stick save, Mellon. Stopping Park, and he just got the stick across to make that stop. Behind the Penguins net. Stackhouse trying to get it out. Middleton rams him against the glass. Kick that. McNabb behind the goal. McNabb out to Park. Open. Shot. Hit Russ Anderson, who made a great play there. Park across the Bork. Penalties over to Ferguson. The shot Bork. Save again, Miller. And he is throwing everything out, including the kitchen sink the Bruins are throwing at him. Bork again. There's a picture of Millen on your TV side. Panning, but he loves it. Here's Cashman out to McNabb. Power play Bruins 5-on-4. Middleton right side. Shot. Skate save Millen. He's daring the Bruins to shoot at him. Right point. Park. And they are. To middle to Cashman. Walks in. Drop pass. Jam it up in the slot. Park left side. Bork. Shot. Missed the net. McAdam, look out here. He can fly. McAdam had his body tied up by Park. Gets it free to Ferguson into the Bruins end. Ferguson left wing corner. Hit by Bork, who really jammed him up with a hard body check. Bork behind the goal. Returned the favor McAdam did against Bork as he slipped the hip into him. McNabb back with 42 seconds to go. McNabb to the Penguin line. Up to Cashman. Deep in the corner. Stewart after him, and he'll take him against the glass. McNabb with the puck. Look out, Bork. Shot. Save. They can't put the rebound in. Millen again stopping Bork from about 15 feet away. Ferguson trying to clear. Off the skates. It comes to Park. Park whacked out by McAdam. Penguins in a box defense. Park waiting. 20 seconds. Park looking for McNabb. Goes instead to Bork. Left point. Shot. Save Millen. Park has it again. They can't score. Park left side. Here's Bork. Crank it up. Shot. Save Millen again. He stops him. Dead cold. Bork left point. 6 seconds to go. To Park. Walking in. Across to McNabb. Shot. Missed the net. Millen stopped him again. How about this game? Greg Millen's playing. Here's Ferguson. Penalty is over to Carlisle. Just off his stick into the Bruins end. Shevers over to Bob Miller, and it's got the crowd here in Boston shaking their heads. They can't believe the goaltending performance of Greg Miller. Stackhouse to Carlisle. Left side pass to Shutt. The Penguins have killed 5 penalties already in this game. Now it's Park. Bring it up to the Penguins end. After it's Stackhouse trying to clear. Comes to Don Marcotte. Put it in front. Shot. Millen again made the save. Oh, brother. Here's Milbury passing to Bob Miller. And he comes right back for the Bruins with 12:35 to go in the game. Bruins, as we told you, are going to do it. Here's Secord coming in. Shot. Millen again. Stop that puck. He holds on. Are you enjoying this one at home? As much as we are here. 12:30 left in period number 2. Well, Millen's playing as well as I've ever seen him. Terry Schiffauer.
Oh, no question. Just an outstanding performance. He's been, I thought the record was stuck there for a second. Bork shoots, Millen saves. Bork shoots, Millen saves. It just kept going and going. Looked like machine gun fire out there. Another chance in close for the Bruins. And there's Millen with another save on Bob Miller, and the defense crowding in. 6 black jerseys all in a circle. 3-0 Pittsburgh, 12.5 left in the 3rd period.
Well, Millen in goal for the Penguins, and it will take a hot goaltender. 3-0 Pittsburgh, 12.5 to go in the game. Marcotte over to Redmond. His shot knocked away by Stackhouse. Milbury left point, his shot deflected by Anderson right in front. Stackhouse looking to get the puck out, comes up to Hughes, off his skate. Bruins can't keep it in. Well, Redmond questions the call, but he really wasn't in a position to do it. Bozak was right there, the linesman, and he made the call. Bruins are becoming frustrated right now. Well, I can tell you this. The Bruins know what it feels like now to be at the other end of it, because the Penguins had Shevers do it to them last year. And it's a frustrating situation. And the game is far from over, though, with 12:18 to go in the 3rd period, in regulation time.
Go back and look at the 2 goals that Peter Lee had left laying on the goal line last year. That one might have been in, and another one very questionable.
All right, played back behind the net. Millen after it. Marcotte beats everybody to it in front. Secord can't tee it up to get a shot. Marcotte has it. Over to Secord, trying to beat Shepard. Slows him down around that net. Millen again going for the puck, and he's got it. And he's going to hold on. Well, you know, at this point, Terry, Boston really cannot afford to take any penalties. They've had the upper hand. They've had 5 chances on the power play, have not scored. Penguins got the opener by Mark Johnson on a power play. Their only penalty chance, power play chance of the entire night.
Well, they keep coming in. The defensemen are taking more and more chances. I'd like to see the shots, because Bork had about 6 right in a row there. Park has been unloading, and still Millen stands his ground. 12:03 left.
Secord to Redmond now, right side of the Penguins end, into the corner. Anderson trying to tie up Secord. Miller has the puck behind the net. He is pulled over by Russ Anderson. Oh, linebacker move there. Secord a shot. Stick save, Millen. Rebound. Save again. Anderson crunched by 2 of the Bruins, but the Penguins come up with the puck. Here's Ferguson leading the attack back. Ferguson flying like the wind. Down the right side. Drop pass. Offside play against Pittsburgh. Now we've got McAdam and Mike Milbury. Stackhouse hit by Secord. Stackhouse drops the gloves or the stick. Here's McAdam and Milbury. Oh, good punch by McAdam. Now Milbury gets the upper hand. McAdam got the first in on Milbury. Stackhouse knocked over. Now Secord attacks Stackhouse. And here they go. Secord and Stackhouse has him down. Stackhouse on top of Secord. Got his jersey up. They're pulling one another. Fights on the ice. Secord back up to get on top of Stackhouse. The linesmen have pried both Milbury and McAdam apart. Stackhouse is being draped on by Secord. Stackhouse got him down first, and Secord got back on top around Stackhouse. Secord still swinging away. Pounding him, and he's on the ice. Now the linesmen step in. And I'll tell you what, the Penguins are looking to the bench. They want some help. Stackhouse is being... Millen is so upset with the play, the Penguins don't want to leave the bench. And Penguins will remember this a little bit with Secord.
Well, Mike, it all started.
Now Anderson and Rick Redmond. Here they go. Anderson and Dick Redmond in the Bruins end. Anderson and Dick Redmond are going to drop him and go to it. Anderson gets Redmond down. They both go down. Now Redmond's on top. Well, the Bruins, a frustrated crew. The Penguins expected this to come early. It's coming the 3rd period.
Anderson's hurt. He hit his head when he went down. He's wobbly. He can hardly stand up.
Anderson was hit, and you can see he's groggy. I didn't see who hit him. Did Redmond hit him when he was down?
No, it just whenever they both fell, Anderson hit the back of his head. It looked like it almost knocked him out. George Ferguson pointed to the linesman right away to break it up, that Anderson was semi-unconscious. You could see how groggy he is. He can hardly stand on his skates. Mike, it all goes back to the plate, to the offsides call. The Pens taking the puck over the line. It was an offsides, and McAdam continued the play. It wasn't an unnecessary call, and he took the shot. Cheevers heard the whistle, saw it was offside. He stepped back, let the shot hit the cage, and then Mike Milbury came out and started challenging McAdam. That's when started round one. Then Al Secord came over, charged into Ron Stackhouse, and put him down. Next thing you know, Dick Redmond and Russ Anderson, and Anderson's going to go off the ice because he is groggy.
Going to say something to Redmond as he goes by. Milbury's got a mouth that's going a mile a minute. Okay, Anderson took on the Bruins here a couple of years ago all by himself. And he'll do it again if he has to. 11:39 to go.
5 fighting. Who was he with, Milbury? Milbury's got 2 and 5, same thing.
Same thing. Okay.
Then we got
You can hear the referee Bob Myers talking.
5 fighting. He was with Secord, who's got 5 fighting. 2 minutes charging. Give it 2 minutes roughing. Secord.
So he gets 2 and 5.
Right? And a 10-minute misconduct.
Did you say roughing? He's gone now.
Yeah. He's got 5 fighting, 2 roughing, and a 10-minute misconduct. And 7 and Redmond's got 5 each fighting.
All right.
Anything else, fellas?
Terry, did you get them all sorted out?
Yeah, I think I picked it out. McAdam and Milbury will each go off 2 minutes each. I believe 2 for roughing and 5 for fighting. And then the key, Secord is going to get a minor for roughing, plus 5 for fighting. Ron Stackhouse will get 5 for fighting, and Secord will get an additional 10-minute misconduct. He's done for the night. Redmond and Anderson will also get major penalties, so the Pens are going to come out of this with a one-man advantage.
All right, the score, Pittsburgh 3, Boston nothing. And we will take a break. This is the Penguins Hockey Network.
Hey, Terry, new photos?
You bet. Just picked these up at the Snap Shop at Giant Eagle.
A supermarket?
Yeah, Giant Eagle's got this new process for developing 35mm film. It's called Super Pro 35.
Sounds pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Look how big and clear these prints are. And if you don't like them, Giant Eagle will take them back. Here's one of me at the ranch. I like this one. Here's one of me scoring. I like that one. Here's one of me getting sacked. I don't like that one. It goes back.
Super Pro 35, exclusively at Giant Eagle.
Al Secord gets a 2-minute minor for roughing, a 5-minute major for fighting, and a misconduct penalty. Penguin penalties, Anderson 5 for fighting, Stackhouse 5 for fighting, McAdam 2 for high sticking, 5 for fighting.
2 for high sticking, 5 for fighting.
Milbury 2 for high sticking, 5 for fighting.
Dick Redmond, 5 for fighting.
Penguins are going to come out with a power play on that. Secord or keeping Stackhouse down on the ice when the referee told him to break. I think that's where he's going to get the extra minor.
The first call, because you could hear Bob Myers, he said, give him 2 for charging.
Yeah.
He said, no, change that. Make it 2 for roughing, because that's what precipitated the extra fights.
Yep.
The extra fights kept going, and Secord taking on Stackhouse. Next thing you know, Redmond and Anderson, and it looks like Russ is okay over there now, but he was pretty groggy, and he went down, and thank goodness for wearing a helmet.
Well, the Penguins now will take a power play to work here, their second chance of the night. Now, we expected the Bruins to be like this, especially in the first period, but they're down 3-0 now. And as we mentioned, it may hurt their cause, and let's see if it does. 11:39 to go in the third period. Kim Claxton has been to the ice for the first time in case things should get tough even more. Claxton, of course, involved in a number of fights here with the Bruins this year.
Well, the Pens had 5 fights with the Bruins this year. Claxton in on all 5 of them. 4 of them with Stan Jonathan, and the other one with Al Secord. But Secord has gone to check the hot water in the Boston dressing room. He's done for the night.
Russ Geary of Glassport, PA, will be our open pantry power play contestant for a Mattel electronic hockey game.
Toronto and Minnesota tied 2-2 in the first period. No change on the other games. Montreal 2-0 on goals by Lambert and Engblom against Hartford. Philadelphia and Edmonton 2-2 in the second period. Islanders ahead of the Kings 2-0. Buffalo 1-0 ahead of Vancouver. And in the second period, Atlanta and the Rangers, no score. Chicago and St. Louis, also no score.
What upset Greg Millen, he was looking to the Penguin bench for some help. Secord was all over Stackhouse and had him kind of helpless on the ice, pounding away at him. Millen almost left his crease, and that would have cost him two. Johnson with Keogh and Lee. Power play for the Penguins. A score here would really, really help the cause. Lalonde. Johnson's looking for the hat trick. He has 2 of the 3 Penguin goals. Talent over to Carlisle at the Penguin line. Spun around, knocked down by Lalonde, nothing called. Remember, the Bruins have had 5 power play chances here tonight. This is the second one for the Penguins. McCrimmon lead it up to Bob Miller. Miller drops it back into the Bruins end. They certainly can't question the officiating here tonight because the Bruins have had the breaks. Up the left wing. Here's Carlisle. Scoots back into his own zone for the Penguins. 1:25 to go in the penalty. Secord's minor. That's the one we're working on right now. Talon takes the pass. Nowhere to go. Now goes to Carlisle, right side of the Penguins' end. Carlisle passing to Talon. Right wing pass. Here's Johnson into the Bruins zone. Bounced away from his stick. Lee gets the puck, though. Drop pass to Carlisle. Center point back to Lee. Walks in. Man in front is Johnson. Instead comes out to Kehoe. Looking, shot, save. Rebound. Can Lee put it in? No. Johnson just shot it wide on the rebound chance. Johnson almost had his third. Miller behind the net. Passing over to Ray Bork. Bork looking. Shoots it up ice. Oh, Johnson almost had number 3 there. Kehoe and Lee right in front, too. 44 seconds to go into an open pantry power play. Mattel electronic hockey game shut back into the Bruins in. Deakish way in on McCrimmon. Take it to the right wing boards. Drop pass. Lee comes up with a puck. Back to Shutt. Stop it with a chest. Looking in the slot. A turning shot and the stick saved by Cheevers. Ferguson in the near corner for the Penguins. Power play on. Out to Shutt. Shot blocked. And the Bruins counterattack shorthanded. McCrimmon up the left wing goes to Don Marcotte. Marcotte cuts behind the Pittsburgh net. Drop pass in front. Talon steals. 13 seconds to go. 4-man rush for the Penguins. 4-on-2. A chance here. Talon right side to Lee. Bringing in. Drop pass to Talon. Back to Lee. And he can't get it through to it. Talon in the corner. Does not go after it. Brad Park comes up with the disc. Penalties over. Rattel, who was serving it, comes on. And it's played deep into the Pittsburgh zone. 9:34 to go in regulation time. Anderson off, Stackhouse also, so Claxon will have to play. O'Reilly and Claxon belly to the round. Here comes Hughes back. Bruins in a shot. The save was made by goaltender Jerry Cheevers. And Hughes in a chance there. Brad Park sets it up in behind the Boston goal. We're down to 9:13 to go in regulation time. Park out the right wing. Too far for Doak. And the Penguins intercept again. Bob Stewart plays it back into the Bruins end. Park's going to get an icing call here. No, he's not. Waved off. Gave it away to Hughes. In front, he has Shutt right there. Give it to him. Loose puck around that net. Shepard's after it. Goes to Shutt. Left wing circle. A shot. Blocked. Shepard throws it over to the right wing corner. Hughes of Pittsburgh. Checked by Park. Now dumps it around to the near side. O'Reilly's pass is picked off. Talon banks it up the boards. Offside play. We'll break the score. Pittsburgh 3, Boston nothing. And this is the Penguins Hockey Network.
You're the Pepsi generation, the spirit of today. And with every taste of life that's new, well, that Pepsi spirit shines right through. It's that Pepsi spirit. Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in. It's that Pepsi spirit. Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in.
The face-off coming up at center ice. And Greg Shepard on here with Nick Libet and Pat Hughes for the Penguins. McTavish with Jonathan and Rick Middleton. Here are the Bruins. Bork takes off around Carlisle. Good play. Put it in front. Went right by Middleton. He runs into Miller. McCrimmon puts it in the near corner. Talon trying to steer it out. And sends it back to center red. McCrimmon over to Ray Bork. Bork into the Pittsburgh zone. Carlisle up off the boards. And back to the Boston line. We're approaching the 8-minute mark. A time left in this third period. Bruins throw it to center, and Carlisle shoots it up the referee, Bob Myers. That hurt him. McTavish back. Bounce it up into the Pittsburgh end. Millen with that puck. Sends it off the glass around to Pat Hughes. Good play there. Systematically just send it away back to center. Penguins protecting a 3-goal lead right now. And the Bruins are going to be guilty of an icing play, I think, here. Yes, they are. Shutt touches the puck. And we will break the score. Pittsburgh 3, Boston nothing. This is the Penguins Hockey Network.
With the Dollar Bank Card from Dollar Savings Bank, you speed your everyday banking without saying a word. The Dollar Bank Card provides anytime express banking for Dollar Draft and Dollar Saver accounts at any Dollar Service Center. The Dollar Bank Card gives you quick identification when you make deposits and withdrawals at any Dollar Bank office. Get your Dollar Bank Card at Dollar Savings Bank. Then you, too, can do your everyday banking without saying a word.
Penguin coach Johnny Wilson leading his troops. He certainly has gotten the goaltending tonight from Greg Millen. He certainly would be a star in this game, maybe the #1 right now.
How about 1 and 2?
Yeah. Here's the puck around that Boston net. Seaver steer it over to Bob Miller. Cashman sends it ahead to Miller again. Tried to cut inside, and Claxton took him off the play. Oh, a holding call here against Claxton. Oh, my goodness. A holding call against Claxton for knocking down Miller. Claxton said, "Who, me?" Well, this is 6 penalties now. Oh, my. You be the judge. Some of these calls tonight have been really...
Oh, he does is push him out of the way.
That's twice Miller's gotten penalties. I'll give him credit. He can move with the best of them in drawing penalties. And I'm trying to be objective, folks, but that comes with 7:33 to go. And I think Myers is going by Claxton's reputation more than anything else. He's just loading that box up.
Chicago leading St. Louis 1-0 on a goal by Mulvey. Minnesota, Toronto 2-2. Payne and Sargent for the North Stars. Boschman and Wilson for the Maple Leafs.
3-0 here. Pittsburgh leading, 7:33 to go, third period. Claxton in the box holding. 6th power play chance for the Boston Bruins. McNabb, O'Reilly, and Middleton up front. Park and Bourque will be the 2-point men in the Penguins' end. And a very questionable call by Myers. Near side corner. Here's O'Reilly. O'Reilly to the right point to Brad Park. Slided across to Ray Bourque. Slap shot. Stick save made. Millen kicked it out of there. McNabb in the left wing corner. McNabb wheeling deal. McNabb to the left point to Ray Bourque. Back to McNabb. Walks in. Looking. Past the Park. He's open. His shot. Arm save Millen. Levitt being challenged. Put him behind the net to O'Reilly. O'Reilly. Penguins in a box defense. Take it to the near side. O'Reilly to Park on the right point. Park again to Bourque. Back to Park. Penguins. Shot by Park, almost decapitated. Miller goes off the far side up the glass. Middleton has it. 1:18 to go on the penalty. Levitt going for the puck. Now it's loose in front. McNabb to O'Reilly. Shot. Blocked. McNabb again. McNabb with it over to the left point by Bourque, and it comes back to center. O'Reilly again at center ice. Carlisle steals. Carlisle shoots it off the board. Back in behind the Bruins net. And Bourque again takes over. 53 seconds to go. McNabb knocked down by Lonsberry. Bourque cutting up to the Penguin line. Looking. Pass it over to O'Reilly. Penguins off. Coming down. Slap shot score.
Well, for almost 54 minutes, Greg Millen has kept the door shut. And now Terry O'Reilly coming in on the left wing. Winds and just beats Greg Millen low and away.
Beat him on the short side, Terry. I think he beat him on the short side.
A little tough to see it on there, but O'Reilly, and it's almost impossible to shut out the Bruins. They've only been shut out 3 times in their last 99 playoff games, and none of those have been here at the Boston Garden.
Power play goal. The Bruins score finally on their 6th attempt. And when you read the papers, if the Penguins were to win this game, I don't want to hear any quotes from anybody saying the officiating was bad on the Bruins side. Here comes Lonsberry. Bruins in a shot. That missed the net. Coming for Marcotte. Marcotte going for the puck. Put it around that far side to Redmond. Back the near side to McCrimmon. 5:57 to go regulation time. 3-1 Pittsburgh. Anderson shoots it away back to the Bruins zone. First game of this 5-game playoff series. If it should go 5, Penguins have the lead here in Boston. Here is Rattel, right side, Marcotte. Offside play, Boston Bruins.
Reminder, Game 2 of this series will be Thursday night. Simulcast here on Channel 53 and the Penguin Radio Network at 7:30. Game 3 of the series back at the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh. Another look, Terry O'Reilly and beats Millen for the Bruins' first goal. We've
Well, I'll
set
tell
again
you.
Saturday night at 8 p.m. at the Civic Arena. Game 4, if necessary, Sunday night, 8 p.m. at the Civic Arena. This series goes the limit. We'll be back here in Boston next Monday.
Mark Johnson with Rick Keogh and Rod Shutt. Johnson has 2 of the 3 Penguin goals. And now it'll be called back in a 2-line pass. Gary McAdam has the other. Right now is the go-ahead goal. They'll call it back inside the Penguin line.
Montreal now leading Hartford 4-0. Buffalo up on Vancouver 2-0.
McTavish, Johnson. Johnson won the faceoff to Bob Stewart and puts it up in the atmosphere. It'll bounce into the Bruins zone. Bork backcourt, 5.5 to go, regulation time. Bork play it away to McTavish. Johnson tried to shut him down, couldn't do it. Near side. McTavish in. Now Stewart knocked down. Carlisle knocking down Middleton. Johnson up the near boards. It'll be Bob Stewart of Pittsburgh. Back to center ice. McCrimmon off the stick of Stewart right to Carlisle. Keogh couldn't get it out. Jonathan over to McTavish. Look out here. Carlisle, good defensive play, took it away. Randy skating with a puck. Carlisle shoots it back up ice. It'll be back to the Bruins in. Now they're trying to turn it on now. Icing called. 4:56 to go, regulation time. 3-1 Pittsburgh will break, and this is the Penguins Hockey Network.
You've never seen a family automobile go through heavy snow like this. The spectacular American Eagle is the only family compact with automatic 4-wheel drive. Eagle goes where others fear to tread. Watch this demonstration of incredible traction as Eagle's automatic 4-wheel drive makes this treacherous slalom run look easy. Get where you want to go this winter in the remarkable American Eagle. The Eagle has landed on all 4s at American Motors.
Pause 5 seconds to let our stations identify themselves. This is the Penguins Hockey Network.
WPGH TV 53, Pittsburgh.
All right, Park of Boston. McTavish in the near corner. Shepard up to Nick Levitt. Can't get it out. Here's Park. Shooter towards the net. Blocked in front. Shepard up to Pat Hughes. And the Penguin right winger shut it up a skate. It comes back into the near side of the Penguins end. Anderson after Middleton knocks him down. And that maybe should have been a penalty. It wasn't called. Middleton behind the net. Centers. Came off a stick. Levitt in front. Knocks it away. The one on Claxton was really debatable. Middleton around the net. Put it in front. Levitt there. Can he clear? He goes right to Millen. He's going to hold on. The one that might have been a penalty to Anderson was not called. The one that was really debatable to Claxton resulted in a goal. But now Myers is almost hard-pressed to make any calls. He's called 6 on Pittsburgh already. 4:21 to go in regulation time.
And all the penalized players are back. Gary McAdam coming out after serving 7 minutes. He and Mike Milbury went off.
George Ferguson on for the Penguins. Well, a victory here means something very important to the Penguins. It means that they can win this series at home. They could win it at home. If they were to win here tonight, regardless of what the Bruins do, if the Penguins won the next 2, they'd win. Bork, center point, shot, hit a skate. Comes off the near corner. Stewart without a glove. Cashman's got the puck. Put it in behind the net to Miller. Miller trying to go back to Cashman. Stewart recovered to get the puck. McCrimmon trying to keep it in, and he shoots it back to center. Ray Bork over to Bobby Lalonde with 4 minutes to go in the game. Shot away to the right wing corner in regulation time, I remind you. Stewart trying to get it out. Can't do it. Miller battling for that puck. Lonsberry there also, and they freeze it. Every second so valuable. I'll tell you, the gallery gods here at the Garden are up on their feet. The upper deck up here. Well, they've got some great sports here in Boston. They really do. Tomorrow night, the Celtics will open it up. Looking at the championship flags here. One stretch, 7 years in a row, world champions. Unbelievable.
It is pretty impressive. If you ever have a chance to come to the Boston Gardens for a sporting event, the green and white banners of the Celtics, world champions, to the right, and the Boston Bruins with their Stanley Cups and division championships to the left.
Penguins against the Bruins. In the face-off, in the Penguins end, Pittsburgh coming up with it. Anderson lay it ahead to Greg Shepard. Looking left wing to Levitt. Off the boards. He's got to step into the Bruins end. Slap shot. Stick save made by Cheever. Far side of the Boston end. Ray Bork comes scrambling out. Lead it up to Miller. Poke check nicely by Stackhouse. The only goal by the Bruins on a power play. Penguins killed 5 of the 6 against them. Here is McCrimmon at the Boston line. 3:25 to go, third period. To Bobby Lalonde. Pass it up. Pat Hughes intercepts. Hughes of Pittsburgh coming back with some room. He flips it away to the Boston end. McCrimmon defensively for the Bruins. Around that far side, Bork can't get to it. Marcotte leaves it for Bork. Right to Shepard's stick. And Shepard again fires it back to Boston ice with 3:04 to go. Here is Bork. Pass it up the left wing. After it will be McNabb. Play to the right wing corner, Pittsburgh in. Millen out. Off the glass. Around that far side. Comes to the left point. Out it comes. Redmond had it forced away back into Bruins territory. Chevers comes running up with a puck. Now finally got it up to Redmond. Chevers came way out. Here is Marcotte. Play to the right side of the Pittsburgh end. Stewart trying to clear. Can't do it, but Carlisle takes a whack at it. Can't get it out. Park, right point. Shot. Never got to the net. Loose puck in front. Backhander. Save Millen on Marcotte. And now Carlisle of the Pens with 2.5 to go in regulation time to Johnson. Overskates the puck, but comes back for it. Shoots it up into Boston ice. Chevers comes out of the net. Shot after it. Played in behind the Boston goal. McNabb around the near side. 3-1 Pittsburgh here in the final third period of regulation time. Marcotte back to center to O'Reilly. Left wing to McNabb. Slap shot coming up. Millen stopped that. He covers up as O'Reilly went skating by, and he holds on. Well, we are now 126 ticks away from picking up game number 1 of this best-of-5 playoff series. And I feel like a parakeet in a cat kennel, I'll tell you. Unbelievable.
Peter McNabb with a good shot. Same place that Terry O'Reilly scored from earlier. Millen has just a little trouble. It gets the glove on it as O'Reilly comes speeding by, takes a swipe at it, and crashes into the boards. Game 3 back at the Civic Arena. Saturday night at 8 p.m. Game 4, if necessary, Sunday at 8 p.m.
Left point of the Penguins in. Redmond shoots it towards the net. Anderson blocked out. Here's Middleton. Go to O'Reilly. Look out. He's trying to walk in, and he lost the puck. Ferguson spins it up the near side. Brad Park with 1:52 to go in regulation time. Back behind the net. McNabb. O'Reilly. Digging. Middleton far boards. Middleton. Ferguson finally coming for the puck. To McAdam. Trying to get it out, and he does. Offside play, Boston. High stick. They're going to call a high stick, and I think it was offside
and offside.
also.
He had both calls. Ryan Bozak right on the line, right where the linesman should be, made both calls.
Well, the Penguins have played a whale of a game. They got the goaltending out of Greg Millen. We still have 1:40 to go. You got to think we'll send in maybe Paul Chevers in an effort to get back in this game. And we get around that 1 minute mark. But they've been tough when they've had to be, especially on the power play. They've allowed the only one goal, that by O'Reilly, with a man advantage. And from the first period on, Pittsburgh really, we talked about it, Bruins strong period is their first. They couldn't score. In behind the Penguin net, Jonathan now. It's forced back in behind the goal. Ferguson works it free. Fergie Flyer gets it out of his own end. Back down to Boston territory. Chevers will play the puck to Ray Bork. 1:20 to go. Pass up ahead to McTavish, and here he comes. McTavish back for the Bruins to the Penguin line. Left side to Cashman. Cashman slides in the front. Shot, score!
The Boston Bruins move to within 1 goal. Bruins coming out of their own end. Over to Cashman. McTavish will break down the center. Gets around Anderson. Takes the shot. Just catches the inside of the pipe. And the Bruins make it 3-2 in favor of Pittsburgh. 73 seconds left in regulation play.
All right. Now the Penguins must go to work defensively now. Bruins will be pulling Chevers. You can bet your life on it. Shepard, Libet, and Hughes. It is a 3-2 hockey game. Shepard got it back to Bob Stewart. Over to Carlisle. Bouncing away to center. Bork fires it up to McNabb. McNabb, left wing corner. Chevers does not come on. Shepard around the boards. Over to Libet. Can he get it out? Libet can't. Stewart over. They jam it up, and the face-off will be in Penguin territory. Will Chevers come off? Timeout's going to be called by Coach Harry Sinden. 58 seconds to go. Well, it's all on the line right now, Terry. It's a 3-2 game. The Penguins, with 2 by Mark Johnson, 1 by Gary McAdam, led 3-0. But O'Reilly came back at 13:44, McTavish at 18:47. And now we have less than a minute left in the game. And the Bruins will contemplate bringing Jerry Chevers off the ice.
Well, they have the face-off just outside of the Pittsburgh face-off circle. And Harry Sinden brings the troops over. He'll have 30 seconds to plot the strategy. He'll probably keep Cheevers part way and say as soon as Boston should get control, then come to the bench. Another look at the goal by McTavish. He gives the pass. He brings it in. He'll give it to the left to Cashman. Now he'll break behind Anderson. Cashman with a good centering pass. McTavish just gets enough of it. Hits the post. Go on the inside. I knew it was close, but that's really cutting it short. And the Bruins get their second of the game. 3-2, 58 seconds left in regulation.
Millen right there for the Penguins. You can see the grimace on his face. He knows he's got to bear down now. And the Penguins will be looking to the Boston end. They're not going to pull Cheevers. They're going to leave him about halfway between the bench and the net. It's to the top of the right wing face-off circle. Penguins in. Cashman, O'Reilly, McNabb up front. Park and Bork. Here we go. 3-2. Shepard trying to bear down against McNabb. Ferguson and Levitt, the other two wingers. Drop of the puck. Comes back to Park. Over to Bork. Cheevers off. Shot. Save Millen. Off his glove. Stackhouse in. He's rammed to the board. Carlisle trying to get it up ice. The goaltender's pulled. Loose puck. Park a shot. Save. Off a skate. Cashman left wing corner. Cashman to the left point to Bork. Park has a broken stick. A shot. Blocked. Here's Levitt now. Empty net. 3-2. Up to Shepard. He'll have a chance. His shot. He shoots and scores. That's going to do it. Shepard scores an empty netter and the Penguins lead 4-2.
They didn't lose their composure. They held on in there. Millen made a big save on Bork right off the face-off, and Boston pulled the goaltender. Now Libet breaks with it, gives it to Shepard, tries, make sure he gets to the red line so he doesn't take an icing call. Now he fires it in, and it finds the back of the net, and the Pens lead 4-2 with 36 seconds to go.
Is that a gorgeous sight? Tickle the twine. Greg Shepard. 4-2 Pittsburgh. 36 seconds to go. Empty netter. And so Shepard comes through in the clutch for the Penguins. Set up nicely by Libet. You know, I don't know if Millen stopped that shot by Bork. I think it might have hit a skate in front, Terry. I'm not really sure. But he's been so tough all night. You got to give him credit. He was standing his ground. Back it comes. Cheevers is in the net. So the Penguins apparently are going to win game number 1 of this best-of-5 playoff series. Shepard plays it into the Bruins zone. Stopped by Cheevers. Right side to Bobby Lalonde. Outlet pass comes to Bob Miller. And the left wing to Marcotte. Into the pinch into Miller. Shot. Blocked. Carlisle with 20 seconds to go in regulation time. Right in behind the Pittsburgh net. Carlisle looking to move it out. Goes to Shepard. Back pass now to Ferguson. 10 seconds to go. The Penguins are going to win game 1 of this series. Milbury with a puck. Left wing to Marcotte. 3 straight games the Penguins have won here over the Bruins. 2 seconds, 1 second, and that's it. It's all over. Pittsburgh Penguins have won game 1 of this best-of-5 series, defeating the Boston Bruins. Final score tonight, Pittsburgh 4 and Boston 2, and this is the Penguins Hockey Network.
This Bud's for everybody who helps build this country from the ground up.
This Bud's for you. For all you do, the king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do, this Bud's for you.
Hello again, everybody. This is Stan Savran inviting you to attend the next Pittsburgh Penguin home game at the Civic Arena. Good tickets are available by phoning 434-8911, or you can phone 765-3939, or you can pick your tickets up at Kaufman's Ticket Center. Get your seats by getting those tickets early for the next Penguin home game. Remember, you can use your Visa or your MasterCharge card.
This is a TV 53 News Watch update with Mavis Logan.
Good evening. In news tonight, Senator Ted Kennedy was in town today campaigning for the presidency. He promised steel workers at the Cyclops plant in Bridgeville that he will take care of them and protect the American steel industry if he is elected president. And an 18-year-old Fayette County youth is being held without bond today on charges in the hanging death of 4-year-old Dominic Forcina Jr. near Merrittsville. We'll have details at 10:50. A Pittsburgh detective will testify at a coroner's hearing that the shooting of 23-year-old Garfield man Monday was justified, and the Allegheny County Prison Board will meet sometime this week to discuss problems at the county jail that led to a 7-hour wildcat strike by guards on Monday. And there is a tornado watch for western Pennsylvania. Right now there's thunder and lightning and thunderstorms. We'll have details at 10:50 on Newswatch.
This has been a TV 53 News Watch update with Mavis Logan.
Well, a big win tonight for the Pittsburgh Penguins. They win game number 1 of this playoff series against the Boston Bruins. It is a best of 5, but the Penguins did something tonight by winning. They have allowed themselves the opportunity now to win the series at home at the Civic Arena on Sunday. And that's a big plus for this club. They got at least a split out of here out of Boston. Regardless if they lose on Thursday, they would still be 1-1 in the series, and they can go home before the home folks and win this series in 4 games.
Well, that's what we said. The first game of a mini-series like this, a 5-game series, is so important because now it just shifts the momentum over to the Pittsburgh side. The worst we can come out of here is 1-1, and what's to say that we can't come up with another big performance from Greg Millen Thursday night and 2-0. Maybe we won't have to play game 4 Sunday like everybody suggested. We can win it in 3.
Mark Johnson scored 2 goals tonight to lead the way for the Penguins. Quickly, Terry, give the 3 stars.
Well, Ray Bourque had 2 assists and many, many shots on goal. He was the 3rd star. Johnson with the game-winning goal, 2 goals, the number 2 star, and Greg Millen with, listen to this, 36 saves, 18 in the 3rd period. Undoubtedly number 1 and 2 stars tonight.
You know, you kind of had to feel for Rick Keogh. He has never scored a playoff goal, but he certainly played well tonight. He helped set up 2 of them. He hit the post a couple of times, and I think it's just a matter of time before he really starts to break it open.
Well, he made some good plays out there, and if you ask Rick, he'd probably say, well, he doesn't even know he hasn't scored a goal, but he made the key plays out there, setting up Johnson with the game-winning goal, and he had a couple chances. He's going to get one before this series is done.
All right, our thanks to Rich Tierney and Ed Hedstrom on the audio side, Robin Bogdan, Doug Lynn, Wheeler Sauer on the cameras, and Mark Mitchell, our Channel 53 director, and Harry Tate here, and our folks back at WWSW. Sil Ernst, our thanks tonight. And Terry, again, final score before we don't have the attendance here. Pittsburgh wins the opener 4-2 over Boston. And this is Mike Lang saying so long from the Garden, and this is the Penguins Hockey Network.
Penguin Hockey on TV 53. Tonight's game was brought to you by Dollar Savings Bank, the pay-by-phone bank. Winkies, 37 locations with more of what you're hungry for. Pepsi Cola, who wants you to have a Pepsi Day.